One pill, one celestial too. Bai Chongfeng could already imagine the damage those two girls were making, so he didn't dare to dabble on the topic any further. I estimate they went out to play. Then just leave them be. Grandfather, did you break into the saint rank? Squinting her eyes in an examining manner, Bai Yan was rather surprised by her grandpa's progress. Chuckling in response, it was about 2 hours ago. The atmosphere around the island suddenly changed and became thick with spirit particles. By taking advantage of that opportunity, Chu Ran and that Wu Wei. Oh yes, there's your grandmother Jun Tianyu as well, we've all broken through into the saint rank. This time Bai Yan literally gawked her eyes out. About 2 hours ago? Wait, isn't that around the same time I completed the refinement process for the pills in my hand? It can't be, the alchemic trial is the cause for the island's change? Grandfather, caressing her chin, she muses for a moment before speaking. Can you go call Lord Chu Ran and my grandmother over? Bai Yan originally wanted to include Chief Wu Wei in her sentence but halted at the last moment due to the trouble of deciding what to call that man. And call Grandpa Wu Wei over as well. I have something to give them. Bai Chongfeng definitely didn't like the way the girl addressed that person, of course, evident by the puckering lip on this old senior. However, he's had to admit that Chief Wu Wei did the right thing before by offering some spots for the Lan family during the critical period. That fact helped press down the discontent. My precious granddaughter, I won't object to you calling him your grandfather, but I won't forgive him from the bottom of my heart. At the very least not until his daughter Bai Ning was found. The missing woman was this old grandpa's ache and pain, a scar that he couldn't remove. I know, nothing is going to change the fact that he split my parents apart, nor can he dismiss his part in my mother's disappearance. However, I can't deny him being unaware of the truth. At the very least he never deliberately hurt my mother, so I will bear with the past until mother is found. Father and grandmother would surely prefer it this way. That's right, Bai Yan's mainly going at this subject out of her emotional ties to Jun Tianyu, grandmother, and Yunfeng, father, while Chief Wu Wei acted as the benefactor, that's all. Sure enough, Bai Chongfeng's mood got better after hearing that statement. Raising a smile. That's right, I am the most important grandfather in your heart, and that old thing can only stand behind me as a second. Huffing and puffing, there's a twisted sense of glee in the old grandpa's heart regarding his own opinion. Looking at this old guy's jealous appearance, Bai Yan just couldn't resist a laugh like she's watching a man-child. Patting his shoulder with a smile of her own, Grandfather, don't worry, your place in my heart can never be replaced. Very pleased by what he's heard, Bai Chongfeng breaks out into a roaring laugh of pride. Haha, you said it right, Yenner. That Wu Wei can never replace me, otherwise. Ugh, just thinking of that possibility is making my mood go foul. Grandfather, let's continue our conversation after you call them over. It's getting late and I don't want to postpone the matter. All smiles as well. She was very happy to see the old fella in a good mood after the fright they must have felt during these couple of days. One pill, one celestial, 3. Looking at Bai Chongfeng's gradually disappearing figure, Bai Yan's smile also faded away, revealing the cold killing intent in those eyes. Spirit realm, HA. If they got such nerve to come do evil here at my home, then it's not necessary to keep that place in existence anymore. Just when Bai Yan was pondering on her next course of action regarding retribution, her grandfather had already returned with the requested audience. Bai Lassie, congratulations on your success in taming the miracle. I bet you've harvested a lot this time, right? Lord Chu Ran of the Holy Land was the last to arrive, but was also the happiest on the surface. Indeed, Lord, I got a lot of useful things while inside. Faintly smiling because of what she has in mind, Bai Yan didn't hide anything and openly admits the fact. I heard from grandfather just now you all broke through to the saint rank? Haha. That's right, we've only just arrived at that level. Then that's perfect. I have here a Dan pill, one for each. Godhood Dan pill, a miraculous alchemic product that could propel any saint rank into the celestial level without consequences. That's what she's holding. What kind of Dan pill is this? Holding the beady little thing up to his own face, Bai Chongfeng asks with curiosity his voice. However, right as the old man's about to pop that thing into his mouth, a dainty hand had stopped him midway. Grandfather, hold on for a little bit. This alchemic pill holds great power from within, so before you take it, please scatter everyone nearby and away from this location. Lord Chu Ran got all surprised by that comment. He trusts Bai Yan wholeheartedly. If the woman says it's powerful, then it must be incredibly powerful. Making a slight cough. I'll do just that and scatter everyone nearby. We wouldn't want them to be injured by the spillover. After that said, the Holy Lord immediately left the Holy Island again to carry out the job. Bai Yan didn't mind waiting. Remaining quiet until the person returns, she kept silent despite the constant badgering from her grandparents for more details. The efficacy of this medicine is too amazing. Rather than telling them, it's better to let them experience it firsthand. Lord, did those people disperse yet? She asks after the man returns with a very pleased smile. I've made them wait up in the mountain peak. Now there shouldn't be anyone left on the main area. Can we start now like this? Yes, go ahead. I will go over there and rest while you all begin. Leaving the group to take a seat on the closest chair she could find, Bai Yan appears lazy and relaxed in her demeanor despite the eyes being that of careful scrutiny. Bai Changfeng was the first to begin. He's the most curious of the bunch and swallowed the pill in one full swing. Seeing this, the rest also followed suit and popped the medicine like him. In an instant, a dominant force gushes outward from their meridian and into the rest of their veins, causing the body to tremble and shake. What are you all waiting for? Hurry and meditate. It's then that Bai Yan's voice drifted over from the front. Meditate? Shock filled the group's heart. Hurrying to sit down with their knees crossed, each of them wanted to hurry and absorb that river of energy into their dantian. One pill, one celestial, 4. Boom! The sky suddenly becomes riddled with flashes of zapping light before it completely merged into a series of lightning strikes at the group. It's too abrupt and left the receivers all confused and unsure of what's happening. Boom! 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 The whole Holy Land has now become shrouded in a thunderstorm, leaving no space unturned. Atop of the main mountain peak here, the many disciples that came up here to avoid being caught in the spillover were fascinated and scared by the constant rumbling and hammering from the sky. They never seen anything like this, so it immediately caught their eye. What is going on here? I've never seen anything like a purple thundercloud before. Showing a frown of awe, Xianxia, first elder, was eyeing the sparks of light from afar. This is not normal. Something of such large scale must be deliberately caused by an outside source. Just now the Lord ordered us to leave the main residence and hide up here in the mountain peak. Can it be because of this reason? If it was us there, then we would have turned to ash already under that barrage of light. Ran E, second elder, adds, surprised as well by the scene. But then boss, why is that storm cloud attacking the Lord? Nothing will happen to them on the island, right? Just like his second brother Xueqi, third elder, was eyeing their biggest brother right now, but instead of surprise, his were that of worry. Of the 3 main elders of the Holy Land, Xianxia was the most knowledgeable. Therefore, if he doesn't know, then the other 2 wouldn't either. Do the 2 of you remember the thunderous storm created by Yenner's attempt at making the 8th grade Dan pill? I speculate this is also a trial from the heavens. Just that. Giving a pause, the first elder takes a second to collect his breath. This time it's someone breaking into the celestial rank. Celestial rank. Like a thunderbolt, this news blew up among the disciples and elders. Celestial rank? Who is breaking through that stage? Is it Yenner? Just now the Lord mentioned the girl coming out, didn't he? Xueqi sounded very excited. After all, it's his disciple they're talking about. A disciple of the celestial rank. How glorious! Xianxia didn't add anything to his third brother's comment, only staring at the thunderstorm that's still raining down from afar. Yes, it must be Yenner. Ran E now got all happy as well. She was already at the saint rank. Breaking into the celestial rank is within expectation. No matter what their speculations were, none could have guessed it was Chu Ran's group, which was with good reason too. They've only just advanced into the saint rank, so it didn't make sense for them to have another breakthrough. The Holy Island has completely lost its former serenity at this point. The only safe location would be the one spot where Bai Yan sat. So, the woman had the perfect view when identifying which of her elders were about to falter. The first among the 4 were Jun Tianyu, the grandmother. She seemed to be shaking with a trace of blood seeping from the corner of her mouth. 1 pill, 1 celestial, 5. Grandma, crouching down to the shaky woman, Bai Yan brings forward and presents a different pill. Eat this medicine, it will help a bit, so you must hold on. Though Jun Tianyu was still stuck in a state where everything outside her body was void, the grandmother still opened her mouth out of instinct due to the familiar aura. The effects were fast after she ingested the pill, quickly healing and reinforcing her weakening body. Of course, Bai Yan wouldn't be stingy regarding towards her family and friends. Taking out another 3 pills, she fed each of her elders respectively based on the level of need. Because of this help, the 4 struggling seniors were once again able to deal with those pesky lightning strikes from above. Time continued to elapse like this, and eventually the storm cloud fades and revealed the bright blue sky with a burning sun hanging in the sky. Yenner, what sort of Dan pill did you just give us? Bai Chongfeng of the medicine sect asks with a shaky tone to his voice after completing his growth. Godhood Dan pill. Those simple words exploded in their heads, ringing like a grenade just blew up in their minds and causing their wires to completely go fry. Clenching in her heart, Jun Tianyu's surprised face quickly changed to a sense of happy glee that's mixed with disbelief. So I wasn't sensing it wrong. We really broke through into the celestial rank? Achieving a level beyond saint rank was everyone's dream in this land. Something that hasn't been achieved as far back as centuries or more. Bai Yan understood why her grandmother was feeling so awed by the feat, speaking with a comforting tone. It's not necessarily essential to head to the celestial rank in order to break into that level. We can do it here in this land as well, grandmother. Besides, aside from the spirit particles being thicker over on that side, there's nothing else special about it. I will one day shape another celestial realm on that side. By then they will bow down to us. The woman's voice was overpowering, shaking all their hearts with her words. That's right, sooner or later those people who harmed me or tries to harm me will all get on their feet and plead for their life. This would be the first time Bai Chongfeng and the rest witnessed this side of their girl's personality. It's shocking and somehow daunting in a way because it's not the expected image of a good young granddaughter that they've become accustomed to. Then again, they had good reason to feel this way. The celestial realm was the strongest among the many realms that was known so far. To claim she's going to forge a new one atop of the old one was, well, borderline heresy. By lassie, Chu Ran bellows out a laugh and pats her on the shoulder. I watched you grow over these past 6 years. From your weakest to the current you, I believe you can do it. You will forge a new celestial realm atop of the ruins of the old. Bai Yan openly smiled at the firm support as she continued. Thank you, Lord, I knew you would support me. Turning to her family now. Grandfather, if my guesses are correct, the reason you were all able to progress into the saint rank earlier was because of the effects of my attempt at refining the godhood Dan pills inside the miracle. The spillover from the success likely affected the air, and that's what caused the sudden increase in spirit particles. So, a flash of light flickered in her eyes, glimmering with a wonderful idea. I want to suggest calling everyone over to the island, whether it be the elite disciples or my flower brothel. We can have them all train while I practice my alchemy on the side. The thunder trial of an alchemy attempt was different from that of someone making a breakthrough. Unlike the latter, the former only focuses in on the specific individual and wouldn't harm those around them, making the idea feasible and very useful. 1 pill 1 celestial, 6. Oh right, there's also the lawn house. Bai Yan's expression slowly got harder as she narrows her eyes in a bit. The number of enemies I have are bound to grow in the future. I must secure their safety and allow them to preserve their own well-being as well. The lawn house was her family, while the demon beast sect and flower brother acted as her subordinate power. Therefore she has a duty to see to it they're well after she leaves this place to attack her enemies. Yenner, do you want me to go handle this? Chief Wu Wei asks, his voice and face all cautious. Despite the silent answer, Bai Yan did give a nod after staring at this unfavored grandfather of hers, which in kind eased the sudden rise of tension in the air. Lord, Bai Yan seems to have thought of something else and turned to Chu Ran of the Holy Land. First clean up this island for now. In addition, have Yi and Xiao Wan come see me after they return from their outing. Okay. All smiles, the Holy Lord didn't resist at being ordered. If those 2 girls had known you were coming out so quickly, then I bet they wouldn't have ran out to play to begin with. She didn't add anything to that remark, after all it's true. However, right as Bai Yan's about to turn and leave, a huge aura suddenly swamped over to them with a shadow hovering above their heads. Immediately, she looked towards the source and was astounded to be confronted by a giant white tiger that's about to directly crash into her stomach. She wanted to dodge, she really did. Sadly, not even with her current strength did Bai Yan manage such a feat with this giant ball of fur. Before the woman knew, the tiger had already pushed her to the ground with those paws against her chest, the tongue constantly licking her face and that tail wagging in the air like a whirlwind. Little Rice, she asks with a tone of surprise. You've reached the celestial rank? Nodding quickly, Xing Yi, Azure Dragon, also went to the demon realm some time ago, then Suzaku Vermilion Bird, fed us something and that's when we broke into the celestial rank. So you're saying Xing and Suzaku have met already? Bai Yan follows up with this question like she both worried and humored at the same time. Blinking his big blue eyes. I do not know what happened but Suzaku wasn't happy when she met Xing. She gave her a very sorrowful and sad face, then refused to see us afterwards. A corner of Bai Yan's mouth began to twitch. Xing was a genuine male before. It's no wonder she's having a difficult time accepting her as is now. It's all right. Suzaku will get used it in time. Patting the tiger's head, she gives a reassuring nod as a way to comfort her friend. By the way, where's Xing? She's off protecting the princess after we solved the issue with the spirit realm's attack force. Mistress, did you miss me? I really want to eat your dong pamit dish. Little Rice desperately wagged his tail when speaking. His appearance was honestly no different from a pet pleading to its owner for food. Okay, when I finish everything and with Xiaochen back with us, I will make a grand feast for the both of you, is that fine? That delighted the tiger and made him lick her face repeatedly. But, Little Rice, your current appearance isn't convenient so it's best you take on a human form. If demons want to transform into their human form then they would need to consume the transformation fruit, unique to the demon realm. For that, Di Tsong has prepared one long ago, just that the little guy refuses to eat it. Wrinkling his nose at the idea, Little Rice's expression instantly crumbled. I don't want to take on a human form, I like my current image. It's mighty and aggressive. The sensation of the godhood Dan pill won. That aside, the main reasoning was still about how handsome he's going to become. What if that girl from the Tiger Clan keeps clinging on to him and not let go? That be would real trouble. If you don't take a human form then it's going to become extremely inconvenient to bring you around later. After all, you're not the little tiny you from before anymore. Pretending to be a cat is out of the option. I may prefer the current me, but... Desperately wagging his tail, Little Rice took a second of hiatus to think of something. I can still transform into the image of a little white cat. It's different but a new ability I gained after gaining this power. Bai Yan actually had black lines running through her face then. It looks like this little fella is going to refuse to take a human form regardless of what I say. Whatever, if he's so reluctant then we can wait until the future. It's not like it's a must at the moment. Grandfather, I will have to trouble you for the things to come. Stretching her hand out in a lazy manner, she beckons the tiger to her side. Come Little Rice, let me lie on you for a bit. The big guy didn't reject the summon. In fact he was very happy to toddle up to her legs and sprawl down to act as a pillow. And sure enough, Bai Yan could feel herself melting into that soft furry body once she leaned down. Matching this with the warm sun in the sky, it's comfortable and beautiful like a picture out of a portrait. Bai Chongfeng and the others left quickly at this. It's not like they didn't have anything to do at the moment, there's still the work entrusted to them to carry out. While the human world was coming to terms with what they experienced and the astounding news of the amazing breakthroughs happening at the Holy Land, the situation back over in the spirit realm weren't looking so positive. Spirit Lord He Fei Xiong had smashed everything within his vicinity over the terrible news that went into his ear, indicating how infuriated the man was feeling. Swish! It's then Lu Qingyu stepped through the doorway. When seeing the mess that was this room, the woman inexplicably furrowed that brow. Without indication, the Spirit Lord rushes over to his own daughter and grabs onto the girl's collar. Say it! Is it you who leaked the word out? Is it you who informed the demon realm and caused my son's tragic death in the human world? Under the oppressive aura of that rage, a throbbing bitterness layered thumped out from that pale face. Even if you don't want to recognize me as a daughter, I'm still a member of the spirit realm. What's in it for me if the spirit realm falls? He Fei Xiong still carried suspicion in his old eyes despite that strong defense, but those hands nevertheless relented and loosened the grip. It really wasn't you? I said it already, it's not me. Furthermore, what benefit do I gain by revealing the secrets to the enemy? Humph! The Spirit Lord huffs a grunt. My children are all dead now, leaving only a cheap bastard whore like you around. If I pass on as well, wouldn't that make you the heir to the entire spirit realm? Even if she never held any emotional attachment to this supposed father of hers, being called a cheap bastard whore still hurts like a piece of thorn. Clenching those fists, Lu Qingyu needed a good second to calm her breathing. Father, I can't do anything else if you want to say it like that. And so what if I don't like my brother? I'll only fight with him from within our ranks. Never will I throw him to the wolves from the outside. Damaging myself in order to damage someone is not my style. Nor am I that stupid to pull such a non-beneficial scheme. So what if I am the one who leaked the news? This bastard never once thought of me as his daughter. Now he will suffer dearly for what he sow. The sensation of the godhood Dan pill, too. Then why did you take so many people out to cause trouble for the three main powers in the human world? I've explained that before already, biting her lip like she's tied on speaking the truth. I was jealous of the demon queen, that's why I wanted to make some trouble for her. I didn't expect my actions would nearly bring disaster upon us. I know my wrong. Her words sounded sincere, like she's made some grave mistake and now repents for it. Seeing this picture, Fei Xiang's last bit of doubt was quashed. Slamming his fist on the table before speaking, "Damn those demons, I will kill them all for my son's death." Flashing with an underlying light in her eyes, Lu Qingyu knew this was the time to speak up. "What do you wish to do, father? If there's anything I can help with, please let me know. You daughter, I will do everything you ask of me." Due to the anger he felt for the ones responsible, the Spirit Lord had missed the cold sharpness in his daughter's aura, something which he never would have done in the past. "Qingyu," softening in his eyes, the man's voice grew gentle like a proper father's. "Now I only have you left as a daughter. I'm sure it's been tough on you over the years, so why don't you change your surname back to the family's? How about that?" Showing an excited face. "Thank you, father." From the initial glance, her expression looked no different from someone that has waited a long time for this opportunity. However, if they just took a minute to look deeper, they would immediately notice that poisonous and vicious light hiding within those irises. It's chilling and murderous. Ever since this bastard killed her mother and ordered Lu Qingyu's expulsion from the family book, this woman has never once forgiven the man in front. He's dead in her heart already, so whatever he tries would mean nothing. "Qing Lu, I know I was too harsh on you back then, so I hope you will forgive me. I didn't have a choice either." Fei Xiang sighs like he's meant it. "So I will place you in charge of the city's army." That actually made the lady cock her head up with a look of surprise in those eyes. This man intends to hand me authoritative power? If it had been before, then perhaps Lu Qingyu might be moved by the offer. But now that's not going to happen. To say the hot has been tempered cold was an understatement. "Yes, father." Afraid of being caught, she hurries to force an excited smile again on that face despite what she felt. "If there's nothing else, I wish to leave first." "Go ahead then." Fei Xiang waves his hand in a dismissive manner, tiredness apparent in that voice. Arching her fist, she promptly closes the door behind herself and left, leaving only the Spirit Lord alone in this trashed room. "Milord, are you really going to hand over that much power to the miss?" Asking this was a grey-robed old man that suddenly materialized from the shadows, his frown indicating he's not of the idea. "Is there any other way?" The cold snappiness in the Spirit Lord's voice explained the man shared the same opinion. "My pair of children have both died at the hands of the demon realm. Now I only have this one bastard daughter born of a whore. If I can still continue to have children, then of course I won't look to Qingyu to succeed me. But what else can I do? I've lost the ability to raise my bottom part already due to age. Where else am I supposed to find another child?" The old senior from the back didn't add anything to those words. He couldn't deny what his master was saying. Even so, the aching suspicion of something being amiss kept bothering him. The sensation of the godhood Dan pill, 3. Back outside, Lu Qingyu's expression had turned into a snarl by this point as she gave one last fleeting glance to the room behind herself. "Miss." Senior June had been waiting outside during the entire exchange, so his expression promptly eased up at the sight of the lady. "How did it go?" "That old thing has completely fallen for my words, so we should be good for the time being. However, whether or not the spirit realm can avoid the upcoming crisis is beyond my control." Lu Qingyu had a smug look when she said that because the image of her mother's tragic death still lingered in her mind. It's unwipeable and the fuel to her rage. "Elder June, let's go. I don't believe there will be much days left for this place anymore." Taking in a deep breath, she slowly strolled for the main gate as the hatred continued to burn with each step. For the senior who has been faithful to this lady and her late mother, he just couldn't help but issue a long deep sigh. Unlike others, including his fellow peers that remained faithful to Lu Qingyu, only Junhao himself knew what really went down behind the shadows. For example, it was the lady who poisoned her own father with an untraceable potion that destroyed the Spirit Lord's ability to procreate with another female. Holy Island. Even though the terrain here couldn't be restored to the former glory of what would be considered an island out of a fairy tale, But through the efforts of everyone combined here, it's still better than the scorched earth appearance from before after the 4 elders made their breakthrough. For Hualuo of the flower brothel. None of this mattered of course after she and the important members of the demon beast sect were summoned over from the abyss forest. To this faithful follower of Bai Yan's, being able to see her mistress again after so long was the main joy she could ask for. Taking a slight bow to show her respect, "Mistress, I am so happy to see you again." Bai Yan returns the greeting with a smiling nod. "I am happy to see you too, Hualuo. How are things going at the flower brothel? Is everything running smoothly?" "Rest assured, mistress. I've kept a close eye on things while you were away. Now we are no longer a small power and has grown into a second-rate organization, equal to the demon beast sect in footing. In the past, an intelligence organization like the flower brothel would only be able to keep a safe foothold on things due to Bai Yan's backing, but things have mostly changed by this point. Even without their founder around, Hualuo used her intellect and ability to grow the business, which paid off in the long run as shown. Of course, the benefit that came with being related to Bai Yan couldn't be denied, but the grunt work still fell on this faithful lady that was there from the beginning of this journey. Anyways, now that you're all here, I can begin practicing my alchemy. First giving her own girls from the flower brothel a look to see if there are still people missing, Bai Yan then shifted her gaze over to the demon beast sect that has sworn loyalty to her own son. When I begin, no one is allowed to leave the island, so don't miss this chance. Obviously none of them understood why the woman would say something so weird, but they obeyed anyways out of loyalty or fear of the consequences. "Yes, milady." Their voices in sync and united. That done, Bai Yan immediately turns for the cottage and left a ringing bang in the air when the door closed behind herself. She's going to be busy for the next while because there are still 5 portions of ingredients left over, more than enough to create a battalion of celestial rank fighters. The sensation of the godhood Dan pill, 4. With a poofing sound, a pang of green smoke seeps out of the cauldron as the ingredients inside began to melt into a green liquid form. Throughout this process, Bai Yan's gaze had never once left the container. It's firm and sharp. Back outside in front of the cottage constructed out of bamboo, the crowd were all sitting cross-legged and immersing themselves in this great opportunity to cultivate. It's borderline addictive even, this feeling, causing them to lose themselves from the exposure. To be clear, at the moment there's only the residual spiritual particles hovering in the air, but even then, it's many times more potent than what they are used to. Then from out of the blue a grumbling rumble rocked the sky, causing their eyes to look upwards at the thundercloud hovering above their heads. Before they could react, a streak of lightning promptly zapped downwards and made a direct hit onto the room where Bai Yan stood. The force devastated the content inside. Even so, the woman paid no heed to the destruction of her property, only focusing on the cauldron and the ingredients inside. Hualuo was the first to notice the huge increase in the air, causing her eyes to widen in shock when staring at her mistress's figure. Like the first, the rest of the girls from the flower brothel and demon beast sect were all gasping by this point. It's overwhelming their logic and left their brains blank. A humph. Bai Chongfeng makes a slight cough, figuring he should intervene to avoid wasting time. You should all hurry and cultivate. Such an opportunity doesn't come often and should be seized when presented. They needed no more urging after hearing the medicine lord's comment. Getting back to their meditative state, none of the Crow D said another word. This included the 4 seniors who first benefited from the experience. They may have already broken through to the celestial rank, but reinforcing their strength and level was still imperative. Time raced away under this wonderful scene. It's beautiful and surreal at the same. At one point lightning rained down like arrows, the next its beams of light shooting up from below like pillars of rainbow. By the time Bai Yan finished her refinement of the godhood Dan pill, none of the people here had moved still. This was fine for her, she's in no hurry to take a swing at the second attempt yet. After all, even the residual particles were enough to greatly boost these people's strength when given enough time. Waste was a sin. Even she knew that much. 3 days later. Many breakthroughs happened during this period. For the demon beast sect, most of their disciples are now at the king rank while their sect leader reached the monarch rank. Of course, the dragon they brought along were also part of the group. Since the lizard was already strong to begin with, the big guy was able to reach the peak of the monarch rank and only needed one more step to hit the saint rank. Now that leaves the flower brothel. Though the girls themselves were inferior to the demon beast sect in terms of strength, but most of them still managed to reach the king rank in their cultivation. This feat was something these ladies who are skilled in intelligence gathering never could have imagined. However, what's most surprising was Hualuo herself. The lady actually surpassed the demon beast sex leader and hit the peak level of the monarch rank. It looks like you've all made a lot of advances. Very good. Let's continue. Shrugging her shoulder, Bai Yan went back to the ruins of her former cottage. Continue? No one said another word. They're very confused because it never even crossed their minds that there's going to be more to this. And sure enough, many mouths were gawking the second she brought out the ingredients. The sensation of the Godhood Dan pill, 5. At the foot of the Holy Land's mountain. The little chubby's fat rounded body has become soaked in his own sweat as he gasped for air from the long hike up the sloping path. Pa, we've been climbing for so long. When can we reach the Holy Land? I can't move my legs anymore. Page. A slap instantly came flying over from the side, landing directly onto the backside of the chubby's head. You will walk even if you can't walk. It's only been a little distance so far, so quit yapping that mouth. In the future don't claim to be my son if you are like this. His voice grumpy and unmerciful, Wang Deqiu angrily glared at the chubby beside himself. Rubbing the back of his brain to soothe the sting, the little chubby makes a blaming look but kept quiet anyways. Papa. It's then a small delicate hand reaches over to tug at the man's sleeve, causing Wang Deqiu's heart to melt away at the voice. I can't move either, I want to be carried. In front of his own daughter's plea, Wang Deqiu's serious and stern expression promptly crumbled. Instead, a warm smile bloomed followed by an involuntary softening of his voice. All right, your papa here will carry you. We mustn't let our Xiaotong get tired now, can we? When picking up his daughter, the way he acts was completely different when facing his son. It's downright bias. Making a wronged face, Wang Xiaopeng purses his lips in discontent. Pa, you are being biased. Shooting a stare in return. Say another word and I will ditch you here. That sentence instantly shuts the chubby up, but not before he murmurs one final comment. If only I can be Sister Bai Yan's son, how wonderful would that be? Not only is she good-looking, she is gentle to Xiaochen, unlike my old man here. He only knows how to beat me. What are you muttering about? Asked Wang Deqiu after picking up some slight noise from his back. Nothing. The chubby jerked in the corner of his mouth over how sensitive his old man's ear was. He only dares to have that thought inside. Never would he say it aloud because he knew his old man would beat him to death. Then hurry up and move your legs. I heard the chief is also here in the Holy Land, so we need to go greet him, and I also heard Bai Yan is back. The truth was Chief Wu Wei had taken into consideration of this family's relationship to Bai Yan when picking out the disciples from the Misty Fairy House. However, despite the man's effort to locate the family of 3, they were nowhere to be found, not even a trace. Due to that reasoning, a letter was left behind at the Wang family's estate. It's just that. Instead of telling Wang Deqiu to come to the Holy Land right away, Chief Wu Wei wrote that they should seek refuge inside the abyss first and to only come after receiving the signal that it's safe to do so. That's why they're so late. In the end, as a result of that twist and turn, the one to suffer here would be poor Wang Xiaopeng. Despite the chubby kid's unfit body shape, the boy's father didn't slow down at all to accommodate his struggling pace and walked even faster. Papa, shouldn't we wait for brother? Asked the innocent Wang Xiaotong that's being carried. Giving his daughter a rub on the head regarding that comment, Wang Deqiu happily answers her. Your brother is too fat lately, we need to help him lose some of those calories. Why else do you think I didn't bring a carriage along? It's to help him lose that fat. Wang Xiaotong nodded her head almost out of reflex. She didn't understand still, but she has full trust in her papa's decisions. No wrong could come from her father in this young girl's eye. Group Breakthrough 1. Grower. Just as the family of 3 was approaching the main area of the Holy Land, a roar suddenly boomed down from above. Next thing they knew was a huge dragon swooping in at rapid pace and blocking their path from the front. Lord Dragon, is there something you need? Almost taking to his knees from the pressure alone, Wang Deqiu's voice started clattering from the unease he felt. Who are you? Where's your passage identification? Those without one is not permitted into the Holy Land. A puff of smoky air spews out of the dragon's nostril when it spoke, causing the human man to squirm backwards out of instinct. However, just when things were reaching a very awkward point, Wang Xiaopeng did his usual thing and snorts before running forward. He's quite the brazen little boy to dismiss the pressure from a being so much further up the evolutionary chain. Lord Dragon, my boss is Bai Xiaochen. His Highness. The dragon huffs a grunt in a displeasing way, You think I will believe you just because you claim to know His Royal Highness? The chubby guffaws a laugh with his childish voice. If you don't believe me, then take us to see Sister Bai Yen. I know she will want to see me. Humph, first you claim to be the prince's underling, then you call the queen your sister. Are you trying to toy with me by throwing the royal family's name around? Wang Xiaopeng honestly didn't think this huge dragon's reaction to be so serious. Blinking his chubby eyes with a surprised light. That's because Sister Bai Yen is so beautiful and young. I didn't want to call her my auntie. The dragon didn't comment on that logic, only moving its head closer to the chubby in an examining manner. Though not intentional, the horn did nearly scrape across Wang Xiaopeng's face unintentionally. Seeing this, Wang Deqiu promptly dragged his son back to his side without a moment of delay. He's afraid of angering this huge lizard right now. After all, it's not like everyone would know of their family's tie with Bai Yen, so things shouldn't be taken for granted. Isn't that little Xiaoqin's friend? It's at this moment a voice broke in from the rear, causing the chubby to swing his head around at the three oncoming girls. Princess. It only took a glance for the huge dragon to recognize those faces. Hurrying to bow his head. Highness, do you recognize this child? Di Xiaowan nods. He is Xiaoqin's friend. I have seen him while I was at the Luohua Kingdom. Let them through with us. We're heading back that way anyways. Yes, princess. With the demon princess's permission, the road has now been cleared of obstruction. Boom. However, just as the group of 6 were about to walk again, a loud rumbling explosion rocked the ground from afar, making an ugly face. Di Xiaowan cries out immediately. What's going on? Did the Holy Land get hit by lightning? Xueqi also ran forward with an anxious expression. When she saw the lightning were coming from the general direction of the Holy Island, her urgency erupted and showed in the astonished face she made. Oh no, the lightning is coming from the island and Bai Yen is there right now. Her words were enough to frighten the other 2 girls, forcing them all to rush towards the epicenter without further thinking. This includes Wang Deqiu and the chubby who were lagging behind all this time. The kid actually ran as fast as any of them in this moment. Group breakthrough 2. By the time Di Xiaowan and company managed to arrive at the scene, it was already well into the event. They could see the crowds of people gathered around Bai Yen, who was working silently with her cauldron. Towards this picture, they honestly didn't know what to make of it. Father, what's going on here? Xueqi bites her lip and asked. The Holy Lord didn't show it, but he did feel relieved that his daughter was back. The loud noise you heard is Bai Yen refining a new alchemic recipe she found inside the miracle. You came back just in time. Come, we can all practice here together. Xueqi literally gawked her eyes out over that information. It wasn't even all that long ago where they got to experience the benefits of being near Bai Yen when she attempted to refine something. Now they got to try it for a second time? In that instant, the princess from the Holy Land took on a look of a predatory wolf eyeing a treasure trove of meat. It's glowing and targeted. Xiaoyun, you should go over there and cultivate too. Heaving a long breath now that she knows what was happening, the demon princess urges her friend from the lawn house to join in on the fun. You're not joining? Lan Xiaoyun asks with curiosity in the voice. Shaking her head, the demon princess explains. I do not have to cultivate, I will just watch from the side. Di Xiaowan was the princess of the demon realm, so she has no need to train like an ordinary person. As long as the seal within her body becomes lifted, then the power from within would come forth on its own. Okay. Not commenting on that, Lan Xiaoyun hurries over and found a great spot for herself for this occasion. For Wang Deqiu and his family of 3, this group who came last were also quite dumbfounded the second they discovered the dense spiritual particles in the air. It's not like they never been to places with exceptional training conditions, but this was on a whole new level. It was another half a month before the session completely wrapped up. The first to make a breakthrough would be Bai Yan's 5 Shifas, Holy Land and Misty Fairy House. These old-timers had it the easiest since they were already on the threshold of making an advancement. What did surprise Bai Yan though was Wen Ru, the young alchemist whom she bested at a contest and made him swear loyalty to herself. The young lad's pace was incredible and directly hit the saint rank in one go. But then again, everything did make sense now that she's thought about it. Everyone has a limit. If one focuses in on a thing, then they are bound to be lacking in another. In this case, Wen Ru has diverted his attention away from alchemy, the lad's main interest, to cultivation here in this case. That talent once again shined through, showing how amazing the person really was even outside his field of expertise. It's a shame though. Aside from those below the saint rank, The residual effects of the godhood Dan pills on the surrounding environments are minimal to the individual. However, this did give Bai Yan an idea for the future. If she gets more ingredients, then creating a legion instead of a single battalion wouldn't be a pipe dream. It's very much a possibility. Shifus, and everyone else who have arrived at the saint rank, come forward please. Gathering at her call, the 3 Shifus from the Holy Land and the 2 from the Misty Fairy House all showed a confused look on their faces. Nevertheless, they stepped forward anyways along with Holuo and the rest from behind. Group Breakthrough 3. Anyone but them has to withdraw from the Holy Land. Wait outside the mountain base until called for. Bai Yan did not directly bring out the medicine. Instead she sharply orders the remaining people who didn't meet qualification to leave. Lord Chu Ran naturally understood what the lady wanted, so he immediately followed up with his own instructions. Everyone follow me, no one is allowed to stay behind. But sister-in-law, I want to stay. Puckering her lips to one side in an unhappy manner, Di Xiaowan protests. Softening in her tone against the girl's protest. Behave, if you stay here then the lightning will hurt you in the process. It won't, the demon princess shakes her head in denial. I'm not afraid of those thunderstrikes, please let me stay. Showing a pitiful light in those eyes, it's hard to deny someone like this that's currently tugging at your sleeve in a pleading manner. Bai Yan didn't say much, only narrowing her eyes in at the girl in an examining manner. Then suddenly, her pupils shrank inwardly like she's discovered something incredible. Fine, you stay. Giving a nod in agreement. Except Xiao Wan here, everyone else is to leave if you are below the saint rank. Don't say I didn't remind you all if something happens otherwise. Her words were very serious, and that was enough to make those who were hesitant at first to dash off like a puff of smoke. Some of you must still be wondering about those thunderstrikes from before. I can tell you all now, it's from my grandfather's breakthrough into the celestial rank. The explanation was like a grenade, exploding their eyes until it's spinning with stars. First Elder Xianxia had said it from the start, it was someone having a breakthrough. What they didn't know was the individual not being Bai Yan herself. Turns out it's Bai Chongfeng instead. Yanner. Twitching in the corner of his mouth, Second Elder Rani speaks with a hint of disbelief. But Lord Bai only just broken through to the saint rank, how? In other words, the old bastard has only recently broken through, so how could he make another advancement this quickly? Flipping over her hand, Bai Yan reveals the bottles of pills she readied for everyone. This is what I just made with my alchemic cauldron. See this thing? Holding up one of the beady little pills, this is called Godhood Dan Pill, an alchemic product that can help a saint rank advance into the celestial rank in one go. Second Elder Ran E now sounded shaky. You mean we can all break through to the celestial rank just like that with that pill? That's right, Shifu. Anyone is able to with the help of this pill. Wait until everyone uninvolved leaves the Holy Land. Then we can begin. One by one, Bai Yan hands out her supply to those gathered around. Of the many who were amazed by the opportunity, Holuo of the flower brothel has to be the most moved here. She's always been at the bottom of barrel in her life. From setting up the brothel to protect herself and her sisters due to their unfortunate upbringing and origin, the lady has never been lucky in life. Well, that was until she met Bai Yan and was saved by the woman. Since then, things have been going smoothly and constantly improving. Just that being able to step into the legendary level like the celestial rank still left her bewildered on whether or not this was really happening. Group Breakthrough 4. With a faint smile, Bai Yan gradually came before Xianxia and his 2 brothers from the Holy Land. Shifus, it was the 3 of you who picked me up back then. For that, I will never forget your kindness and will do my best to help improve your strengths. These 3 have watched her come all this way in life, making them some of her most essential people in life. That's including the fact that they're unreliable on many occasions, but still, they are very much important to her. And, taking a pause to organize her words, you will always be the most important people in my world outside of Ditsong Xiaochen and my brother Bai Xiao. Years of companionship, this feeling, how could others compare? Only by making them capable of protecting themselves could she go fight the celestial realm at ease. Fortunately, Bai Chongfeng wasn't around to hear this. Otherwise the old grandpa would have to go find a tiny spot to weep in silence. My dear, Xianxia's first voice choked as he reached out to rub the woman's head. When we picked you up 6 years ago, you were already the one and only family we have in this life. He and his brothers have no children. That makes the girl their unofficial daughter regardless of what others thought. Bai Yan smiled at that and didn't object to the idea because she felt the same way. Then without forgetting the rest, she turns to Zhongnan and Zhongbei of the Misty Fairy House. Shifus, I want to thank the two of you for the care you gave me while at the Misty Fairy House. As long as I can walk down the path I chose, I will certainly take you along with me forward. I will never forget the kindness and care you've shown me during that period. What about the spirit realm? What about the celestial realm? One day, this big world will become one and become mine to rule. The Zhong brothers were very much gratified over that promise. To these two who already lost a disciple in the past, having another so gifted and talented was the greatest fortune they could ask for. It's getting late now and I believe the crowd have mostly dispersed. Come everyone, let's begin. I will watch from the side as you all take the pill. Taking 2 steps back, she carefully looks over the group in front of herself in case anything goes wrong. Xianxia, being the oldest of the Holy Land elders, took the medicine first as the host here. The rest followed suit next and swallowed their pill respectively, letting the gushing force spew out of their bodies. Because of how violent the power was, none of them dared to wait and hurried into a meditative position to begin cultivation. Sure enough, a thunderous rumble rocked the sky as soon as they did that, while the dark looming cloud hovered above their heads, constantly snapping crackling streaks of light at the group beneath it. Halyuo and her side of the group coped with the electrical strikes fairly well, however. Zhang Qi and the other 4 elders didn't fare so well in this case due to their old age. Before long, signs of faltering could be seen across Bai Yan's 5 shifus as their bodies suffered and started to fail in supporting themselves. Bai Yan noticed this change immediately, of course. Hurrying over to Zhongbei, who was the weakest of them all, she went ahead and pushed a nourishing pill into the old senior's mouth to help restore the man's strength. Relieved by the returning color, Bai Yan then went ahead to Qiu Shu Rong's 3rd side and did the same. While the lady worked profusely to make sure the old-timers were keeping up, Di Xiaowan remained seated in front of the big peach tree nearby, her eyes flickering with curiosity the entire time as Bai Yan worked. Group Breakthrough 5. Strangely enough, none of those lightning strikes would draw near this demon princess despite being at the epicenter of it all. Therefore, everything within 10 li, 500 meter, had remained untouched from the incident. Sister-in-law. She opens her mouth now after being unable to hold in the doubt. With your strength, you should be able to fend off the lightning strikes. Why don't you help them? Bai Yan chuckled over the obvious question. These are what you call tribulation trials. Though it's dangerous, it's a must for any cultivator to experience it for themselves to help forge their body for the newer rank. Otherwise, they will be at a disadvantage during battle because they only have the power spiritually and not physically. Making an understanding face, the demon princess just had to offer up the most troublesome idea ever. Then this won't do, I also want to be hit by this lightning a few times. After saying that, she promptly stood up and called out to the lightning cloud in an excited manner. Do you not see there's another living person here? What's the meaning of avoiding me? But not only did her demands not help, the dark cloud seems to have a mind of its own and moved even farther away from the girl. Di Xiaowan literally made a face with black lines running through it at the sight. What's the meaning of this? Are those clouds not giving me face? Just as Di Xiaowan grinded her teeth in frustration, the event was over and the clouds began to disperse, leaving a pure blue sky in its wake. If it wasn't for the scorched earth and smoking craters here and there, one would not even notice what had happened due to the serenity in the air. Am I at the celestial rank now? Qiu Shu Rong stood up and laughed hysterically before breaking out into tears. I never could have imagined this day to come so early. Now those animals from the spirit realm can come all they like. If they do, I will make sure they never get to go back. All smiles in the face. You guessed it right, Shifu, those from the spirit realm will certainly come again. If you hasten your consolidation speed, then the next battle will be yours with ease. Talk about having a turnaround in their attitude. Back when the spirit realm first attacked, these old-timers were cowering and afraid of what's to come. And now they're talking like the other side were no more than prey ready for them to hunt. Shifus, all of you shouldn't be too happy just yet. Even if everyone is at the celestial rank now, there's still different tiers in there. If the spirit realm's main core battle force comes, we might have difficulty coping with it. There's no doubt in her mind that more powerful individuals are still lurking within the ranks of the enemy. Fortunately, Bai Yan has a spy on the other side. At the very least, preparations would be in order if an attack was imminent. Dragoni should be back soon. Staring up in the sky then, as if another thought has come to mind,
Her gaze locks onto the direction of where the border city should be from where she stood. Since those saint ranks are already anti-contracted by the little missy, then it's safe to include those saint ranks as part of their own forces.
Such numbers may not be a match for those celestial ranked masters, but they're plenty useful to clean up the rabbles. Hence the reasoning for Bai Yan to send Dragoni back to the border city. She wants to use these newly acquired slaves. Xiao Wan. Bai Yan abruptly turns around as if recalling something important again. Before Di Tsong said he's going to look for Xiaochen in the secret domain, did something happen? The demon princess didn't answer right away like she normally would. Instead the girl got all hesitant and nervous, a clear sign something was amiss. Tell me, what is my son's condition? Grasping onto the girl's shoulder, Bai Yan's fingers got a bit harsh. Bai Xiaochen was her life. If anything happens to the boy, then this mother might as well die along with him. That's the level of importance he was to this woman. Bai Xiaochen's missing one, all careful in her voice. Not long ago my brother lost contact with Xiaochen, that's why he personally went to the secret domain in search of him. Don't worry, trust in my brother, he will definitely locate my nephew and they will be all right. Bai Yan did not show any emotions on the face right then, only clenching those fists intently. For a while, Di Xiaowan could not understand what was happening and got all nervous. Sister-in-law. Meek in her voice, the demon princess weakly calls out to try to get something out of the silent woman. It's only temporary, the disconnect. I'm sure brother would never allow Xiaochen to be in danger if he allowed him to go there alone. Slowly exhaling a breath like she's releasing some steam. That domain, can I go in? You want to go into that secret domain? Asked the demon princess with concern apparent in her eyes. My son is missing, so I must go in person to see for myself, otherwise I can't be at ease. But, biting her lower lip, Di Xiaowan hurries to explain the problem. That secret domain is generally reserved for us demons to enter. If a human go in, I fear there will likely be danger to your life despite you already being at the celestial rank. If something happens to sister-in-law, then brother will surely break my leg when he comes back. I can't worry about so much. All I know is that my son is missing and that I have to go. The more she spoke, the sterner and harder that expression became till it's crunched up in pain. Musing for a moment, I have a way for you to go to that secret domain, but you must not tell my brother that it was I who helped you. Otherwise, he will definitely kill me afterwards. Okay, I won't tell Di Tsong about it. Lowering eyes, a firm light beams out of this woman's iris. No matter the danger, if it's for her boy, then she would bear any danger that comes her way. Sister-in-law then. Follow me. Making a faint nod, Bai Yan turns to Xianxia first, in order to leave her final instruction to the elder. Shifu, when Dragoni and her group arrives, please give them these Godhood Dan pills. You can decide which is suitable to take them or not. I leave the final decision to you. After saying that, her focus then shifts to the young lad. Wenru, your alchemic talent has always been good. When I come back next time I will help you improve further. By then you can be the one to refine the Godhood Dan pills. Bursting with joy at the promise, the lad smiles right up to the eye. Yen, you're going to teach me your alchemy? Yes, you have the ability to become a 10th grade alchemist. Here, take this recipe book and practice while I'm away. I hope that by the time I return you will already be at the 8th level. Dropping a thick booklet onto the boy's hand, she cocks a wonderful smirk like she's expecting a lot. This didn't escape Qiu Shu Rong's third eye, making a face with black lines running through it. Sweetie, you can't be so unfair. What about us? You can't just focus on helping him improve and leave us out of it. Well, Shifu, how many years do you think the three of you would take before success can be achieved when refining a 10th grade recipe? Making a helpless gesture, Bai Yan honestly didn't want to be like this. The issue was the three elders were just too ordinary and unskilled in comparison to Wenru. Bai Xiaochen's missing too. Holding the item in his hand like it's some sort of treasure, Wenru's expression were all smiles then. Shifus, wait for me to come back first, then I'll help you all enhance your alchemy when I have some free time in the future. I believe even if I gave you all the recipes now, you would still be unable to grasp the knowledge on your own. Shaking her head with a bittersweet smile, Bai Yan turns back to the girl behind herself again. Xiaowan, we're leaving now. In a flash, the girls were already gone from this place due to the insistence of the worrisome mother. Demon Realm. Inside the palace. First Elder had been staring up in the sky here when his mind was suddenly yanked back to reality by the appearance of the two familiar figures up ahead. Queen Princess, you're back? Showing a faint smile, the senior happily greets the two new arrival from the front.
Landing on the ground, Bai Yan spoke first without hesitation. First Elder, I heard you and state teacher were busy with something and had to leave. How come it's only you here?
Slightly amused and taken aback by the quick question, First Elder didn't mind and frankly answered, That's because state teacher still had other businesses to take care of, so I returned first.
My queen, is something of the matter?
Xueqi is missing. Growing darker in her complexion, the lady states her main reason for coming. Likewise, the senior also grew solemn in the face upon this news.
Going silent for a moment, I heard His Highness had went into the secret domain.
My queen, do you mean? I want to go into the domain as well. Her voice increasingly more determined and unyielding, showing how much she intends to force the matter if needed to do so. A subtle change of concern swiftly took hold on the elder's face as he frowned on this demand. Queen, I'm afraid. First Elder, Di Tsong once said I'm in charge of the demon realm. Now I want to enter that secret domain, so do as I order and send me there.
Narrowing her eyes in, that voice grew increasingly sharp as she continued. Don't try to make any excuses.
Xiao already told me aside from Di Tsong and state teacher, you are the only other person capable of opening a channel into that domain. The poor senior's mouth actually jerked as he twitched from being pointed out. For a good while, no words could come out of that tongue due to how speechless he became.
Then when the old fella finally regained his composure, he immediately turned to the princess with a protesting look of blaming because that's exactly the sort of excuse he had wanted to make in order to shut the idea down.
Di Xiao naturally knew what the other side meant by that look. Shrinking her neck in, she promptly took a few steps back to hide behind Bai Yan's figure. First Elder, this is not my fault. You mustn't tattle to my brother when he comes back. Now this time it's the demon princess who's overthinking the matter. Aside from Di Tsong being a bit mean to the spoiled girl, no one else in the demon realm would treat this princess unwell. In fact, they pampered her to the point where it's ridiculous. Hence the lawless behavior she has formed over the years.
Princess, if Her Highness is all right by the end of it, then of course nothing will come of this incident.
However, if something bad happens then no one can hide the fact, right?
Shaking his head, First Elder sighed at the predicament he's now placed in.
Shuddering in cold sweat over that explanation, Di Xiao immediately turned to Bai Yan for help and tugged at the lady's sleeve. Sister-in-law, you must come back early, otherwise my brother really will kill me. Bai Xueqi's missing 3. Don't assume just because Di Tsong doesn't hit this girl that he wouldn't. If anything does happen and crosses the man's bottom line then it would spell the end for her. Di Xiao has no delusion of what would happen then. Likely she wouldn't be able to see the next sunrise. I'll be back, all bright and firm in her eyes. First Elder, open a channel for me, I'm going to look for my son. Towards this determined mother, the old-timer just couldn't refuse and issued a long sigh. If your highness is so determined then I won't say any more. However, I have one last question I like to ask before we go. Did you break into the celestial rank?
Staring straight at the woman's figure, First Elder grew heavy in the voice as he spoke. Giving a nod. Yes, not long ago I happened to come across an opportunity and made the breakthrough.
Then Queen, do you know how the level is divided within the celestial rank? Bai Yan shook her head, showing this was the first she's heard of this. I don't know. Let me explain then. After all, it will just be a matter of time before you meet a celestial rank once you enter the secret domain. Giving a faint smile, the senior inhales a long deep breath like it's going to be a long one. Truth is we don't call our level the celestial rank at all once we hit this stage.
The power difference is just too distinct and drastic on each tier, so we would treat it like a whole different level within the rank.
Like for example, my queen, you've just made the breakthrough, so we would call you the bottom divine level. Then what comes afterward? She asks with a frown. That would of course be the middle divine, followed by the high divine.
Take that, Spirit Lord. He is a middle divine.
Caressing her chin, Bai Yan muses over this newfound knowledge for a while before finally speaking up again with a smile. I understand. Can you take me to the secret domain now? Of course, if that's your wish, my queen. Giving one last glance at the demon princess, First Elder then promptly led the desperate mother away for entrance's location. Bai Yan didn't say more and quietly followed from behind. She's wholeheartedly invested on this trip and has no intention of coming back out until she locates her boy. Inside a valley, a man with his hand crossed behind the back stood firmly in place atop of this land riddled with fallen leaves of maple. Meanwhile in the back, a group of armed guards silently waited his next order. Is your information accurate? My son is in this place? Di Tsong's voice sounded demanding and harsh, like he's going to murder them if the answer said otherwise. Then again, this man did promise his wife that their son would be fine even if allowed to enter this place on his own. Clearly that promise didn't stand since the boys has gone missing. Yes, Majesty. We've got eyewitness account that His Highness the Prince was last seen in this area. He was kidnapped by the members of the Sky Clan. Sky Clan. If I remember correctly, the Sky Clan belonged to the Celestial Realm and was later expelled due to a crime they committed. To think they are hiding here of all places. Growing cold and murderous in his aura now, Di Tsong's expression became unreadable. I don't care who they are, hurting son will be punished by death. Slowly raising his hand to issue the command. Demons, heed my order, slay every member of the Sky Clan. Yes, your majesty. Taking to their knees, their voices were strong and powerful when complying. By Xiaoqin's missing 4. At this order, the demons gathered here today immediately began to charge towards the upper reaches of this valley, their momentum full of murderous intent as their feet trampled the ground. Di Tsong didn't join in on the main fight, only watching this unfold from above in the air. Nevertheless, his attention did eventually get pulled when a loud holler caught his ear from the small settlement. Who is so bold to come make trouble at our Sky Clan? The voice clear and crisp, causing even the smoke to clear somewhat in the battlefield as that bright red figure made its way to the forefront. This individual was a beautiful woman with a dominant air to her existence, yet she still carried the sort of charm that's expected of the type who's well experienced in seducing the opposite sex. At first she was still brimming with anger over the attack, but that instantly changed as soon as she noticed that enticing figure of a man up ahead. There's a look of astonishment and stunned outlook in the woman's face. The main reason being how much of a drought it's been for these poor females of the Sky Clan after they moved here. A female still needs comforting, and when compared to the 2 boys they kidnapped the other day, this one clearly had more of a manly charm to him. Hello there, handsome. If you are visiting us, then you should at least send someone to inform our tribe. Why cry death and battle so suddenly? What? Are you picking on us just because our tribe only has females in our roster? Licking her lip like she's already unable to hold back the insatiable desire to mate with this man, the female who's the obvious leader of these Amazonians spoke with a voice of playfulness. Disgusted by the gaze he's receiving, Di Tsong crunches up that face and spoke with harshness. Bring my son out and I will let you die with your bodies intact. Ha ha ha. The woman bursts out laughing, very much amused by the laughable joke she's heard. There's sarcasm and contempt in the lady's eye. Oh beautiful. We of the Sky Clan are lonely and suffering, you know. In order to quell our pain, we will take any passing men to become our playthings. Since you are here now, you can forget about leaving, become me and my sister's toy. Retracting the cold frosty air in her eyes, the woman throws out a charming wink at her supposed victim. Di Tsong's aura instantly grew menacing because he knew what she's trying to do. Waving his arm, a powerful force repels whatever she's trying to do and throws a counterattack right back. Surprised and shocked by the ineffectiveness of her own charm, a pang of anger erupted out of this woman's face, but not before she got hit in chest and had to take several steps backward. Now there's only panic left in the eye. How can our clan's seduction spell not work on you? In this world, there are many races who study the art of seductive charm, but there's no other group more capable than the foxes. Since Di Tsong here was a fox himself, it's only normal for the woman's charm to fail. Speak, where's my son? Encroaching in on the female, Di Tsong's pressuring gaze was now starting to make the other side stammer and break out in cold sweat. I did grab 2 boys that was passing by not long ago, but I don't know which one you're talking about. Expressionless. My son is of course the most eye-catching among the crowd one. By Xiaoqin's missing 5. What you're saying is that one? The one who looks better than a fairy and is sculpted from jade itself, that child? Based on how timid her voice has become, it's obvious the earlier arrogance has died out in this lady's attitude. I think he's in the altar room right now. Only after hearing that did Di Tsong retract his oppressive aura, leaving the female to gather a breath. Sadly, his next words that followed threw her into the ice again. You bunch, watch over her. He orders the demons from behind. If my son is missing even a strand of hair, then all of you will die. So, you better pray that he is not hurt, or be prepared for the consequences. Her fate has been sealed since the moment she made a move against the boy. She's doomed, along with her clan. That's regardless of Bai Xiaoqin being hurt or not, it doesn't matter at this point. The place of offering and worship wasn't that far away, merely at the other side of the valley.
Here, in this dimly lit tiny room where the altar stood, was Bai Xiaochen with his hands tied behind his back, that mouth stuffed and covered by a handkerchief. The boy's been awake and alert for a while now, but he never once tried anything until he's sure the ones in charge of watching him from the outside were gone. With this perfect opportunity before him, Bai Xiaochen didn't need to wait and forced a tug around his arm. With a snap, the rope binding his hands were torn, leaving him free to crawl over to the other boy that's with him. Luckily the latter wasn't bound by anything, only unconscious, making it all the more easier to carry out the following escape plan he's had in mind. "Wake up, hey wake up!" He gently pushes the kid's body in an attempt to get a reaction. Sadly, his efforts were in vain. Scratching the back of his head over this dilemma. What to do? He's obviously been drugged by those ladies from earlier. Thankfully I'm immune to every poison out there. Otherwise I might be in the same situation when they fed me that thing. It's then an idea suddenly hit the little steam bun when his brain worked up to here. Pulling out all the pill containers in his possession, Bai Xiaochen wavered as he stared left and right over what he had. Which of these candy beans can detoxify the sleeping drug? Damn it, I should have paid more attention to Mother's lesson when I was studying. Wrinkling his cute little nose from the self-annoyance, the boy grew furious and decides to pop one out from each container. Oh, who cares? You're also a demon, so it doesn't matter if I feed you everything. One of these should remove that drug inside you. In one sweeping gesture, he directly stuffs the handful of Dan pills into the other child's mouth and allowed it to flow. Thankfully these are all high-quality medicine directly made by Yen herself. As soon as the objects touched saliva, they would melt and become liquid form inside the kid's mouth, making the job of feeding all the more easier. Gradually opening those eyes, the unconscious boy eventually locks onto the little steam bun staring down at himself. "Are you here to save me?" Raising a bright smile, Bai Xiaochen proudly cocks his tiny chin upward. "That is of course, otherwise how will those fools catch me?" Wild ambition, 1. Moved to the point of showing tears in the corner of those eyes, the little boy wanted to say something more to show his gratitude when he suddenly remembered their own predicament. Hurrying to cry out, "But those people are very powerful, you need to leave and not worry about me." "No, my mother said it before that a man must know how to repay a debt. Little leopard, you helped me before so I must save you." In a forceful tug, Bai Xiaochen didn't give any room for refusal and pulled the other boy along with him towards the doorway. "Little leopard, follow me closely from this point forward. I will take you away to safety." When Bai Xiaochen reached the doorway, his steps gradually slowed to a tiptoeing pace for fear of disturbing anyone that might still be outside. However, his prudence was for naught because when he tried to push at the door to make a crack for peeking, he immediately discovered there's a chain locked around the knobs. Understanding the problem, he inhales deeply and musters up a force around the fingers. This time around when he made a push, the power he summoned instantly snapped the metallic chains on the other side. "Okay, we're good now. Come little leopard, we need to leave this place." Scurrying about from one point to the other, the pair were able to make great progress in this dark place due to Bai Xiaochen's exceptional memory. When he was being brought to the altar room, the little steam bun made sure to memorize the directions, so this was just him recollecting his previous steps. "Who is it?" Just then, a petite voice suddenly came from the rear and causes the leopard boy to fall into panic on that cute little face. "Don't be afraid, I said I'll protect you." Patting his friend's shoulder, the little steam bun promises with an air of assurance. Perhaps it's the way he spoke, or just the way he acted, but it did manage to calm the frightened boy's heart. Turning around, Bai Xiaochen confronts the group that has caught them from behind. It's a bunch of ladies, all scantily dressed with barely any clothing covering their body parts aside from the crucial 2 parts. They were all eyeing the 2 boys with sharp looks like they're very unhappy right now. "We're only passing through. Can you beautiful sisters let us pass?" All bright and innocent, Bai Xiaochen does his usual talk of persuasion. Under normal circumstances, this effort to charm the female sex would have worked without problem, however, this was the Sky Clan. These boys, weren't they the ones brought back by Lady Mei Ling before? One of the maids apparently recognizes the 2 and pointed this out. If I remember right, Lady Mei Ling should have fed them some sleeping drug. How did they wake up so early? No matter, they're caught now so they can forget about escaping. No one runs from our Sky Clan. That said, the group of ladies promptly charged with their blades drawn. Beaming with a sharp light at the open hostility, Bai Xiaochen rapidly pushes his friend further back to make some space. "Do you think I would be afraid of you people when I'm the prince?
I will protect mother in the future, so you're nothing to me. Wild ambition too. A formidable force has now exploded out of Bai Xiaoqin's tiny little figure, causing even the air around himself to gush outwards like a hurricane. Boom! Under that torrent of wind, those who attempted to approach the boy were knocked away instantly, giving the little steam bun the opening he needed to grab the leopard boy's hand to make a mad dash for the other way. Little leopard, let's go! At the main gateway of the Sky Clan, Di Tsong's dark gaze continues to scan the area until his sight fell upon the torrent of wind blowing up from afar. Xiachen! In a flash of purplish light, his body shot towards the epicenter of this event. When he arrived, there's already nothing left, only rubbles and a bunch of maids constantly groaning from the pain and the occasional blood puking out of their lips. Speak, where is my son? Coming before one of the injured, Di Tsong harshly glares down at the lady who's barely able to look up. They've left. The maid squirms once her sight clears up a bit and recognizes the frosty look coming down at herself. Where did they go? He asks again with a totally unreadable face. I didn't see clearly. There were too much sand and wind, so by the time I came back to my senses they were already gone. The maid trembled as she answered. Her heart filled with endless terror when she noticed what the man was doing. Di Tsong have already raised his hand by then, and from it was a purplish flame. When he released it, the fire instantly engulfs the injured here and slowly melted their flesh and body away like magma meeting rock. Sire! A group of demons also gathered due to the noise, their bodies kneeling to await their next order. I don't care if you turn this valley upside down. Go find my son. He shouldn't have gone too far. Cocking a cold smirk over what he's going to say next. As for the Sky Clan and its members, leave none alive. They can pay with their blood for making a move against my son. Under normal circumstances, Di Tsong wouldn't even need to make such a huge scene about finding the boy. He could have just used his nose to track the scent. Unfortunately, there are various obstacles here stopping him from doing so. The main one being the differing laws governing this pocket dimension. It's affecting his ability to smell. Of course, the Demon King here was well aware of this fact and deliberately gave his own son a beaconing charm. It's so he could tell where the boy was at all times. Sadly, the little rascal actually lost the damn thing, forcing Di Tsong to do all this for a simple rescue mission. Yes, sire. Bowing their head, the demons promptly spread apart in every direction without looking back. At the higher parts of the valley, Bai Xiaoqin and Little Leopard had just ran out of breath from running so fast out of the settlement. They're tired but relieved at the same time. It's strange, the commotion I made should have alerted those from the Sky Clan. Why aren't they coming to catch us? Wrinkling his lovely little brow, Bai Xiaoqin mutters this to himself in confusion. But since he couldn't understand the reasoning, then he's not going to dwell on the matter. Instead, he makes a brilliant warm smile at their own fortune and rolled with it. Wild ambition, 3. Little Leopard, we are safe now. The leopard boy blinked and blinked before responding. Thank you. Don't thank me, before it was you who helped me when I was hurt. Patting the other side like he's some sort of adult, Bai Xiaoqin starts getting ideas again like he usually does. This place is too unsafe. Why don't you come with me? I can't be at ease leaving you here alone once I leave this place. There's shock on the leopard boy's face, but more with that of surprise and happiness. Almost choking due to the tears that's swelling up. You would take me in? Bai Xiaoqin gives a heavy nod. My mother is a very good person, so I'm sure she would love to have you around, don't worry. Do you like your mother very much? Seeing how the little steam bun would always genuinely smile when mentioning Bai Yan, the leopard boy unconsciously began to envy him. It couldn't be helped. Since his birth, this kid has always been alone without any supervision or family. To finally have a grasp of what it means to experience kinship was something entirely new and enticing for him. Proud in his demeanor. Of course I like my mother, she's the greatest and best-looking woman in this whole wide world. She's gentle and kind and the sweetest person you can find. It's the very reason why I came here. It's to enhance my own strength so I can protect her from those mean people who wishes to harm her. Then do you not mention anything about your father / my father? Bai Xiaoqin's mouth instantly puckered up with a sour note. He is a big baddie who always tried to steal mother away from me. But out of consideration that he likes to beat those bad people away from my mother, I have reluctantly accepted him. When speaking up to here, the little steam bun suddenly paused like he's thought of something else. Actually, baddie father isn't that bad. He can be nice to me sometimes. It's just that he always tries to hog mother's attention all day long, and wouldn't let me sleep with her at night anymore. That's right, after Deet Song came into this pair's life, the poor child's been unable to share a bed with Bai Yen. The direct consequence of that was Bai Xiachen questioning his own origin and believing he's adopted from the streets. Little leopard, let's get out of here first. I don't want to give those ladies a chance to catch us for a second time. Giving a long sigh, Bai Xiachen gave one final glance at the oddly silent settlement behind himself before fleeing off into the sunset with his friend in tow. There's a town not far away from where the valley was located. At first this place was still bustling with noise, but that quickly changed into a calming silence when the two boys appeared. Whose children are they? What a lovely pair of boys. The first pretty like a girl and the second just as fine like a piece of jade. Little leopard rarely makes contact with other people, so this experience was something very new to him. Perhaps it's the look he's getting, or the added attention. But the kitty boy definitely didn't like this and took shelter behind his friend's back. He's just too timid and afraid for these sort of crowded events. Understanding the issue, Bai Xiachen promptly pat the other kid's shoulder as reassurance. Don't be afraid, with me here no one will hurt you. That day it was he who got saved and it was he who brought the leopard boy out from his former home. In the end Bai Xiachen here holds a huge responsibility to look out for the other boy. After all, it was his own negligence that allowed the females from the Sky Clan to kidnap the kid in the first place. Wild ambition 4. And this time, he won't let his friend Little Leopard suffer any more damage. A man must shoulder responsibility in life, that's what his mother said. Aha! The leopard boy nods and came out again with renewed confidence. You are my only friend, so I believe in you. Though there's no more fear left on the kid's face, but the cheeks were still flushing red as he stared back at the townspeople. Elder, are you seeing this? Not far away from where Bai Xiachen stood was a young man wearing a light blue robe. He's currently eyeing the two boys while fanning himself like a young scholar. Young lord, I saw it very clearly. The boy with the more exquisite face is the one those from the demon realm are seeking. With a placking sound, the youth folds his fan in one smooth motion and coldly spoke again. According to the forefathers, we were once also members of the demon realm, but because of a mistake our forefathers made, those at the throne threw us out and banished our clan into this domain. Originally we should be happy to be able to come here. After all, the demon realm's foundation is damaged during the Great War. Getting cold in the eyes now upon bringing the subject up. But those accursed beings cursed us, forever sealing our ability to advance in the celestial rank here. They could have just left us alone. Instead they ordered us to forever guard over this stretch of land for them and not let us reap the benefits. The more he spoke about the past and the conditions placed on him and his kin, the more outspoken and harsher his voice became. What do you have in mind, my lord? The old man asks after a moment of thought. Showing a rippling smirk regarding that question. I want to make use of this demon prince. Once I capture him, then that demon king will only have two choices to make. First is to release us from this prison, then it's to hand over the throne to me and break the limit on our bodies. Showing hardness in the eye, the youth flicks open his fan again using that expressionless face. Young lord, what plan do you have in mind? At first the senior that's with the youth was stunned by that proclamation, but he quickly came back to his senses after weighing the cons and pros. It's true forcing someone to do their bidding would be difficult, but it's not entirely impossible. They do have their method and as it so happens, they have it right here in their hands. If he loses his memory, then wouldn't it be easy to control him? The youth sneers. Our Zhang house's forefathers were stupid. I'm not going to be like them, guarding this domain just because others told them to. The old man's heart trembled then. For some unknown reason, he couldn't help but feel uneasy when listening to his young lord's words. My lord, shouldn't we let the chief know first? No need. The young man shows a dark look. That old thing is so cowardly. He will only hinder our plans and get in the way. If you want our demon wolf clan relive its glory days again, then follow my orders. I will lead us to greatness. Wild ambition 5. While the two were scheming behind their backs, the leopard boy himself was busy scanning the streets with curiosity in his eyes. Everything was new to this young kid, and like any child, the fanciful and fun things are always the most eye-catching. However, when his sight fell upon the two figures in front that staring straight at himself, he immediately shrank his neck in and snuck behind the little steam bun again due to the anxiety he felt from the unknown. Looking up at the intervention, Bai Xiachen's brow began to furrow inwardly as he asked, Grandpa, Uncle, do you need something? With a fake smile, the young man makes a greeting gesture. Greetings, Highness.
Blinking his eyes in surprise, the little steam bun quickly follows up. Do you know me?
We are members of the demonic wolf clan and subjects to His Majesty.
Under the king's order, we have been instructed to search for you, my prince, and to bring you to our home so news can be passed along to His Majesty.
Since the tone sounded sincere and the fact that the other side's also a demon, Xueqi didn't question the truth in that statement. Baddie father is looking for me? Oh, it's all my fault. I lost that beaconing charm when I got injured last time and still can't locate it. If you are acting under Baddie father's instruction, then go ahead and inform him. I can wait at your home until then. Normally he would reject the offer, but since he's afraid of Song being worried for himself, the kid finally nodded and said yes. Please your highness, this way. While under the cover of his own bowing head, the youth smirks at his own success. Reaching out to hold his friend's hand. Come little leopard, we will go with him. Oh yes, prepare some food for my friend. He likes to eat meat. As you wish, my prince. Zhang Yu, young wolfing, cups his hand in compliance. The elder on the side had wanted to say something here but ended up sighing in the end. He knew his words won't change the young wolfing's mind. Oh, forget it. The young lord has never been one to admit defeat before others, even if it means using underhanded methods at times. Such a personality won't be persuaded just because of caution. Xueqi didn't think so much. He's too full of joy to worry about a trap being laid before himself. To the demon prince, he's all about leaving this secret domain once his old man comes. By then, he could run back to his mother and be the good little son that he was. An involuntarily smile blooms out of that face, those eyes full of laughter at the thought. Zhang, you continue to walk in front right now. To this young wolfing, he's unable to keep his happiness contained at this point because he could already see himself basking in glory. That demon king loves his own son so much, that's why he's going to give me everything I demand of him. The Wolf Manor. Where's our room? The little steam bun briskly asks after stepping through the doorway like he owns the place. Zhong Yu scheme 1. Yes, highness, I will have the maids ready the rooms for you. Please come with me first. Zhang Yu signals the old man behind himself while he himself led the two boys away for the temporary guest rooms. The old man naturally knew what that look meant. After a moment of musing, he immediately walked in the opposite direction to carry out the plan. Uncle Wolf. Xueqi suddenly stopped. When will my father come? This careless and unthoughtful question actually scared the daylights out of Zhong Yu. The young man thought he's been discovered, so he began to tense up. However, he quickly realizes it's his own guilt that's playing here and his rattled nerves soon settled down. I'll send someone to inform the king right away. I believe it won't be more than a few days before he comes. Grinning with a huge smile at the news. Then that's great. I hope Uncle Wolf isn't trying to deceive me just because I'm a child. Otherwise my mother will be very angry. Just so you know, even my baddie father will get scared if she's like that. It's unsure why, but the little guy's words have had the direct effect of make Zhang Yu fall into a panic. He's sure that his lie has worked, and that the prince didn't suspect a thing. Yet why? Why does he have such an ominous feeling? Awkwardly laughing like he's trying to shirk off the unease, the young wolf attempts to move the topic along. Don't worry, prince, no one here will dare to or be able to deceive you. I'd still like to trust Uncle Wolf. The boy's returning smile seemed very innocent and very true. Uncle, I'm starting to feel tired, so don't let anyone come disturb me later when I'm resting. Of course, your highness. Complying by lowering his head, one only needs to take a peek to discover that insidious light in those eyes of this wolfing. Done with that, Xueqi turns back to the room in question. He didn't make up the part about wanting to rest, so when he pushed open the door, the first thing he did was to close it and get on the bed. With a blanket reaching all the way to his face, the kid appeared troubled with worry. Will mother find out since I lost the beaconing charm? She must know if baddie father knows. Oh, what to do? Mother must be so worried about me. I better be good and wait for baddie father to come pick me up so I can go back as soon as possible. I miss mother's scent so much, I want to go back. No. Shaking his little head like he's trying to throw away the thought. I'm not 3 anymore, I must learn to be independent. Only by being an adult then can I protect mother. It's then the door to the room was suddenly pushed open and in came a maid. The girl carried a tray with a bowl of soup that she placed on the table. Prince, I've come to bring you soup. It's the young lord's instruction because he's worried about you being hungry. Please enjoy while it's hot. Although Bai Xiaochen did give explicit instruction not to be disturbed, but he's a good child. As per Bai Yan's teaching, those who offer kindness must be returned with kindness. Hence his lovely smile at the servant girl. Thank you, sister. The maid's face went red from blushing. She's been thoroughly won over and germinated by the kid's adorableness, so it took her a good while to come back to reality. Moments later when he was left alone again, Bai Xiaochen didn't hesitate and quickly came before the table to get his first whiff of the delicious-smelling liquid.
However, right as the drool was coming out, his nose immediately picked up another scent in here and that caused his face to sink into a scowl.
Zhongyu's scheme, too. Squeak with creaking of the door for the second time today. The young man known as Zhongyu steps through. When he saw how ugly the kid's expression was towards the filled bowl of soup, his face instantly sank from the picture.
My prince, this soup. Is it not to your taste?
Squinting up his eyes, Bai Xiaochen began examining the new entry up and down like he's thinking of something and on what his next course of action should be. Under that scrutinizing gaze, Zhongyu found himself starting to tense up in fear. What's going on? Did this kid figure it out? No. It's impossible. Us demonkin have no knowledge in regards to alchemy, and this Dan pill is something I bought from a human years ago. That person said it can make the taker lose their memory, so the prince couldn't have known the soup is drugged.
Half a minute later, Bai Xiaochen's boisterous laugh suddenly broke out and brought the other side back to attention. Of course not, Uncle Wolf. How can I refuse your good intention?
Picking up the bowl, the kid takes a big swing at the liquid and gulps down the entire thing in one move. When done, he didn't forget to wipe the corner of his mouth to emphasize how much he enjoyed the flavor. Seeing this, Zhongyu inherently felt relieved and laughed aloud as well. Please get some rest, my prince. I will go down first and come back later to organize everything.
All right. Saying nothing more, the boy went ahead and turned to the bed again.
When he did so, the little steam bun deliberately covered part of his mouth to hide that sneaky smirk he was making. It's unsure how much time has passed, but by the time Zhongyu returned to check up on the occupant, he was already showing off his real face of cold light.
Brother Yu.
Coming up from behind was a young woman of similar age to the male. She's also eyeing the little boy currently sleeping on the bed with her own gaze. Is this the crown prince from the demon realm? He gives a slight nod as confirmation. Cici, you must remember, from this point forward you are his mother, and he is your child.
Don't worry, Brother Yu. Fifth Elder have already told me everything.
Making a bright smile at the mention of their plan, I will do everything within my power to help you. You can be confident in my acting. Unbeknownst to the two scheming individuals though, the sleeping little guy had jerked so slightly due to their conversation. Nevertheless, the reaction was a brief one and quickly returned to the quiet state from before. Xiaochen, wake up. Slowly opening his eyes with a frown, Bai Xiaochen found himself being confronted with a smiling and tender face.
It's that of a woman's around the age of 20-something. A young one and barely older than his own mother's.
Towards the sluggish and silent stare from the boy, Cici's, wolf lady, reaction was to turn to the man behind herself for instruction. Understanding he should take the lead, Zhongyu smiles and came forward. Xiaochen, you were attacked before so your memory isn't so good right now due to the injury. I am your father, and this is your mother. Now do you know us? Bai Xiaochen didn't answer still, only staring up at the man and woman standing there. Towards this display, Zhongyu began to doubt himself and made a furrowed look. This shouldn't be. Did the drug make the kid go stupid? It was supposed to only make him lose his memories, not wipe his mind completely to the point of damaging it? Exchanging a look between themselves, the wolf lady known as Cici went ahead to bring the little steam bun into a warming hug. It's the type of a kind mother's embrace, which was exactly what she's trying to go for. Zhongyu's scheme, 3. If you don't want to call us father and mother then that's fine. You only need to remember we're your family and that's enough. Oh yes, we have an eternal enemy and his name is Ditsong. He's also the one who tried to kill you.
Lowering his eyes to hide that frosty glint when they said that, it's obvious Bai Xiaochen's will to murder these lying bastards has been lit.
Cici, let's go. We need to let him get some rest. I'm sure he'll slowly come to accept us with time. Making a small chuckle, Zhongyu didn't bother to hide the malice in his voice due to the impression that he succeeded. He has taken the medicine anyways so he can forget about remembering the past in this lifetime. Okay.
Cici nods and released her arms around the boy and got up from the bed, but not before giving one final glance at the sluggish-looking kid, who only stared at their backs while they departed. Regaining the light in his eyes after being left alone again, Xueqi restored the cunning look on his face and immediately rose from the bed. He's scanning his surroundings with vigilance in case those wolves returned for a third time. Once certain they aren't going to come back, the boy's first order of business was to locate the leopard boy who's currently sleeping on the bed next room over. Those people must have fed little leopard some sort of sleeping drug. Biting his lip like he's tied between an idea, Xueqi suddenly grew tough in the face when he pulled out a small dagger from out of nowhere. In a flick, he makes a small wound on the tip of his finger and allowed the blood to seep into the other boy's lip. Good thing mother fed me all those Dan pills since I was a baby. Now I'm immune to almost every poison out there and can use my blood to use as an antidote. Before long, the leopard kid fluttering those befuddled eyes opened like he's really confused on what's happening. Xueqi! S.A.A. In his haste, Xueqi only knew to cusp his hand around the careless kid's mouth in order to stop him from making any more noise. Don't say anything, those wolves will hear us. Startled and confused, little leopard didn't understand what his friend meant by that but still did as told. That group of bad people fed us some drug, but they didn't know I'm immune because I've been eating various herbs and medicinal ingredients since I was young. I only needed a whiff to tell, so I went along with their plan and used it to my advantage. Huffing a snort to gloat. Think they can scheme behind my back? Don't they know I am immune to all poison? Then shouldn't we make a run for it? Asked the leopard boy with nervous eyes. Shaking his head. No, I can't just leave like this, they must pay for trying to use my against my baddie father. That. The little leopard sounded worried still. I'm going to wait here for baddie father. They want to use me so he will definitely come for me. Evoking a sly smile, he shows off why the foxes are so cunning. They will work for me whether they like it or not. The little leopard boy continues to blink his eyes in bafflement. Although the kid doesn't understand what his friend's trying to do, but he knows Xueqi couldn't be wrong. Okay, I'll stay with you here until your father comes. I'm not leaving without you, Xueqi. Don't worry, little leopard, they can't hurt you. Patting his friend's shoulder, the little steam bun reassures the other boy with his confident smile. Also, I need you to keep pretending like you've lost your memory, otherwise my plan will be exposed. I understand. The leopard kid solemnly nods to show how much emphasis he has regarding the instruction. Done with what he needs to do, Xueqi swiftly left his friend's room like a little ghost that he was. Perhaps it's how confident Xianxia felt about his plan working, but there were no guards or patrols placed around their rooms, so sneaking around was a piece of cake. Xianxia's scheme for. At this moment, at a not-so-far-away peak next to this township, a woman now stands staring down from above at the terrain as the bristling wind blew against her dress. The eyes she showed were sharp and bright. This domain doesn't look all that different from the world outside. Now I just need to find Xueqi and get him back. Loosening her frown after that small muttering remark to herself, she promptly left the spot in a flash to head for the township at the bottom of the valley. Meanwhile, at the same time this was occurring, Song was currently acting increasingly more annoyed as he sat on the throne seat in the Sky Clan settlement. Is there still no news about my son's whereabout? Sire, we've searched everywhere around the area. There's no sign of the prince yet. The guard answers with a nervous tremble. That was not the right answer, causing the oppressive man's aura to swoop over devour the poor soldier's existence until he's choking for air. Thankfully, it's then another figure came running over from the doorway to stop the act. Kneeling there, the person carefully spoke. Sire, we've just received a letter from an outsider. The stranger said it was for you. Bring it forward. He growled with a menacing voice. Yes, your majesty. In his hurry to comply, the soldier nearly tripped on his own 2 feet when trying to hand over the letter. As annoyed as he was over the incapability of his own men, Song didn't have the patience to punish the second individual's carelessness. Tearing apart the cover, he only needed a quick glance at the letter's content to grow dark and hard in the face. Gather everyone, we're heading to Long Town now. Rapidly rising from the throne chair, his maneuver allowed the letter to slowly flutter to the floor for everyone to see. If the king wants to see the little prince, then he will come to the demonic wolf clan's home. In an instant all faces were changing in various ways, but all had the same thought in mind. The prince is at the demonic wolf's clan's place? But before they could dwell on the issue any further, Song had already left them for the outside, forcing the rest to quickly follow suit. Lucky they did so too. Because right as the dangerous man was off the grounds of this settlement, a huge gulf of purplish instantly lights up across the Sky Clan's home, destroying and incinerating the structure and grounds. Wolf Manor. Leaning his head against the bedside rail, Bai Xiaochen appeared bored as he stared forward in a mindless state. He's thinking of something, just don't know what. It's then the door was pushed open by a hand. Looking over, he could see it was a young woman walking over. Xiaochen, you're awake? Carrying a tray of dainty pastries with her, Xueqi, wolf lady, sounded gentle and kind as she spoke. Mother prepared some snacks for you. Come, try some, I'm sure you are hungry by now. Not rejecting the offer, the little steam bun first picked up a pastry to take a sniff. When his nose found nothing wrong with it, his expression promptly relaxed. It's not poisonous. But the thought only lasted a bite before the kid spit the stuff back out. So gross, it's nasty. Who made this food? Are they trying to hurt me with this? Cece's face was stiff as a rock right now. She just couldn't believe how the little fella could detest her cooking so much. This wolf lady could swear that in this long town, her cooking skills are top-notch. Even if it's not he best, it's among one of the best and couldn't be matched. However, one good thing did come out of this for her, and that was Bai Xiaochen's willingness to speak. Thank goodness this child is not a retard and a mute. Xiaochen, this is what mother here made for you, don't you like it? Flickering with a light in his big blue eyes, Bai Xiaochen's cuddly and cute face revealed a bright smile when meeting the wolf lady's gaze. Zhong Yu's scheme 5. Are you really my mother? The young woman ticked the corner of her mouth into an upward arc over that question. That is of course. If I'm not your mother, then why would you be here? That made the boy sneer inside. Why am I here? Of course that's because you people scammed me here. Naturally the little steam bun wouldn't show any of that on his face, only staring cluelessly like he should when he's supposed to have lost his memories. But according to my memories, my mother's cooking should be very delicious. Far better than the best cooks out there. This pastry though. It doesn't seem to match up to what I recall. Cece just gawked her eyes there. Didn't brother you claim this boy has lost his memories? Why is he still remembering the past? At least he only remembers the Demon Queen's cooking skill and not the person herself. Maybe I'm getting rusty for not cooking so long. How about I make another plate of pastry for you? Is that fine, Xiaochen? She asks with a forced smile this time around. Her mission was to please this little guy, but that doesn't mean she's genuinely happy to be doing so. Okay, grinning wide on his cuddly little face. I want to eat dongpu trotter, flour chicken, mapo tofu and stewed chicken eggplant. Cece's facade nearly crumbled in that split second under his barrage of naming. She's the Lady of the Wolves, a noble and prestigious existence in these parts. It's bad enough to ask someone of her standing to work in the kitchen, but couldn't he have at least named some exquisite dish instead of those? Those rambunctious stuff? Flour chicken? Mapo tofu? Is that something a person of my capacity should do? Xiaochen, these dishes are too ordinary. Can you change it to some more exquisite dishes? Restraining her urge to smack the boy, Cece awkwardly asks with a stiff smile. Ah. Looking reluctant, Bai Xiaochen gives a nod in accordance with the demand. Then I want to eat dragon meat. It must be the kind that has lived for more than 1,000 years. A splurge of essence blood nearly came spewing out of Cece's throat just then. Dragon meat? And the type that has lived for 1,000 years at that? Where in the world am I supposed to find that? Is that hard? Making a frown, the little steam bun then went ahead to knock on his own head like he's remembered something. I just had a dream. In there, Mother would feed me dragon meat and it tasted great. Although I couldn't see Mother's appearance clearly, but I know it is Mother's figure when she fed me the dish. Of course. His story there was nothing more than a prank. He's a demon, and dragons are also demons. There's no way he would eat his own kin. However, that doesn't change the fact that he's enjoying his own little play on toying with this deceitful witch that's trying to impersonate his own mother. Just watching that steaming yet unable to vent face was enough to delight the cunning little troublemaker. That's what you get for trying to deceive and use me. Xiaochen, there's no more dragons in this place. Growing stern, a strong light beams out of the fox lady's eye after she managed to calm her inner anger. Those dragons, I have already fed you all of them, so there's none left. Now it was Bai Xiaochen's turn to choke at the shamelessness of this exchange. He expected all sorts of excuses and lies from this impostor. But to say he himself has ate all the dragons? Whoa, that really takes some skill to pull off. That. Getting sly as well, the kid grows a smirky grin as well. Then I want chicken soup. And I want you to eat it with me. All right, issuing a sigh of relief. Wait just a minute,
I'll get it ready. After saying this, Xueqi made sure to leave quickly so that the boy wouldn't make any more difficult request. Looking at her panicking and scrambling figure that's practically fleeing from view, Xianxia just couldn't help but release a chuckling laugh at his own achievement. Now all he has to do was to await for the chicken soup so he could carry out the second phase of his prank. The little devil won. He did not need to wait long for the wolf lady to return. This time around, she's carrying a large bowl of chicken soup in hand with a heart of resentment. Xianxia, the chicken soup that you wanted. Ready and prepared, Xianxia's first act was to pick up the chopstick so he could pass on the chicken but to the lady's bowl. You eat too. As expected, it is Xianxia who cares about mother here the most. Perhaps it's how moved she was at being served a piece, but the lady didn't have a second thought when she stuffed the chicken but into her mouth after taking a seat. However, all it took was a bite before she spat the chunk of fatty flesh out. In her haste, she immediately grabbed a handkerchief to wipe her frowning mouth. What is this? Chicken butt. Is this not your favorite food? Answering without so much as blinking an eye, Xianxia sounded so innocent and true that it's hard to doubt his sincerity. Sadly, this news was a huge blow to the wolf lady's mental stability. If she had known the piece she just placed in her mouth was a chicken but then she would have removed it even before she made the soup, that's a huge blunder on her part due to inexperience, and now she's suffering for it. For a second, the lady felt like her very bile would spill out due to the disgust she felt. Mother, you have changed. Xianxia's little mouth had curled into a displeased pucker like he's about to cry. You used to like eating it a lot. Is it because I'm the one who gave it to you that you are vomiting? Pumping a twitch in the corner of her mouth. How? How could that be? Then why did you spit it out, mother? Asked the boy with a layer of water filling his crystal-like eyes. Inhaling deeply knowing she's been cornered, Xueqi knew she had no choice and slowly picked up the chicken but again with her chopstick. When those fingers felt the resistance from the clamping force she herself applied, the lady could already imagine the puking image in her mind. But still, she stuffed it into her mouth in one forceful chug and swallowed. That was it, that's the last straw. Grabbing her handkerchief, Xueqi literally covered her mouth and fled for the outside due to the horrific sensation. When her figure disappeared completely, the laughter of the boys chuckling could still be heard throughout the room. This is just the beginning. If you people dare to impersonate my family, then you can forget about having it easy. Then, as if to add salt to the injury, Xianxia went ahead to take a sip of the soup. Unfortunately, he too had made a mistake and found the flavor disgust, forcing him to spit it back out like a shooting fountain. It's no wonder she puked. This is so nasty. It's hundreds of times worse than mother's cooking. Done with the goofy prank, he decides to just leave the mess for others to clean and took his place back in bed. Within the courtyard of the Wolf Manor, Xueqi had just finished running out of the guest rooms where she found a quiet corner to throw up. She's still trying to reach down with her fingers to force everything back out from the throat. Xueqi. It's exactly then that a familiar voice came from behind. When the lady recognized who it was, she immediately reached out to grab at the man's sleeve. Brother, you that child. He is the devil, he is the devil. Xueqi, what are you going on about? He frowned and swipes the hand away with impatient clear in his voice. Brother, you, I don't want to be the child's mother anymore. He is a little devil. If I continue, then I will go crazy. She's now hissing hysterically like she's about to lose her mind. I've already informed the king that his son's here. The person will be here soon. What do you expect us to do if we give up on the little prince? Are you trying to destroy our demonic wolf clan? The little devil too. Zhang Yu's tone was strong and powerful, forcing the wolf lady to cower down and not say another word. Enough. Go back and please the boy like you're supposed to. Also, drug his food some more. I want to make him completely obedient to me for use. He orders with a frosted tint in those eyes. Almost sobbing in her voice now. Brother, you that boy, did he really lose his memories? You think I'm wrong? That drug is something I tested before, there can't be any mistake, nor will he remember anything from before. The young wolf said it with such assurance that he could literally fool himself despite it being a lie. On the other hand, the wolf lady just felt wrong about all this. Sure, she submitted and won't object anymore, but the aching suspicion just won't leave her heart. Then what about the other child the prince brought along? What should we do with him? Don't worry about him. I gave the kid the drug as well just to be on the secure side. He's not going to a hindrance. This left Xueqi rather puzzled. But why don't we just kill him then? Why bother making him only have amnesia? Snickering deviously. Did you not see the leopard kid's talent? Our demonic wolf clan is in need of talented people right now. If we have that boy trained, then it won't be that far off before we get a useful pawn. Making an astonished face of enlightenment, the wolf lady now looked on at Xueqi with admiration. She's feeling rather ashamed of herself because these are the sorts of things that would never cross her mind. I understand then, brother Yu. No matter how terrible and evil that little devil is, I'll do my best to please him. I'm glad you understand. A heaviness lifts off from the young wolf's heart over that promise. Crossing the hands behind his back like he's some sort of experienced elder. It won't be long now, Xueqi. Our time will soon come and the glory days of our demonic wolf clan will return. Good thing that old man isn't at home. Otherwise my plans will be extremely difficult to carry out. He's always so timid and afraid. Nothing like me at all. Next couple of days. The atmosphere around the wolf manor has completely changed from its previous peaceful nature and became an explosion of commotion. Toying with the wolf lady had only been just the start of the little steambun's devious scheme. He had plenty more to do. First was to burn the entire kitchen down, forcing the household to turn to the outside restaurants for food. Then came the treasury vault here. Just like how he tortured the 3 elders of the Holy Land, Xianxia directly raided the precious items held in there before completely burning the segment of the manor down to a crisp. There's nothing left by the end of it. Only a roasting smell in the air and the charcoal remains of the structure. It's not good, brother Yu. That kid burned down father's treasury vault. Bang! Xueqi was just in the middle of enjoying a fine cup of tea at the restaurant when he overheard the panicking cry of the wolf lady. Dropping the porcelain in his hand. What did you just say? That kid burned father's treasury vault. Sweating and anxious in her voice. What should we do, brother Yu? Father definitely won't forgive us once he finds out after returning. Returning from his initial shock after a moment of processing, a ruthless determination flashes in the man's eye. If I can be the king of the demon realm, then what does a few treasure matter? I can gather everything for him again at a later date. The little devil, 3. Yes, as long as I become the demon king, then what else can I not get in this world? You don't need to come tell me these things in the future. Alright, what's the situation with the drug I've tasked you with giving him? Xueqi asks after prioritizing which was more important. Biting her lip. I've been putting the drug into his soup every day and made sure he drank it all in front of me. I believe the toxin might be producing some unintended side effect. Perhaps that is the reasoning behind his loss of control and violent behavior. Then that's good, he said with a pleased voice. Go back first and keep a close eye on him for the coming days. I don't want the boy making any contact with the outside until we are ready. If he learns of the truth that he's a fox while we're wolves, then it will inevitably cause the boy to suspect something. I understand. Despite the unhappiness plaguing this wolf lady, Xueqi nevertheless left the restaurant as told. Her only hope now was to get the little devil under control soon, otherwise she might just strangle him in the heat of the moment. Long Town. In the street, Yan's gaze was still scanning the surrounding streets when the wolf lady came strolling out of the restaurant. As a result of the rush and carelessness between both parties, the two had directly bumped heads and crashed into one another, causing them both to falter backwards from the collision. Xueqi was the first to come back to attention after the initial bump. When she did so, her view was instantly showered with Yan's mesmerizing contour. It's left her speechless and at a loss of breath. Yan also came back to her senses by then, and just like the astonishment portrayed by the other side, she too made a surprised face after checking out Xueqi's figure. Demonic wolf clan? Xueqi's body quivered at being pointed out. If it was her own kind who saw through her background, then it's still understandable, but everyone here in the secret domain are capable of hiding their scent and aura, making this very abnormal. You are? She asks with a furrowed frown. Controlling her expression, Yan speaks. Before I came here, First Elder had told me about your clan. He said there are those who've been exiled to the secret domain as punishment and made to guard the place, and your clan is one of those guilty groups, is it not? Giving a pause to think before continuing, is your clan chief called Xianxia? The demonic wolf clan has always been ambitious even before their banishment. The only exception was this Xianxia. As a result, the person who was still a young lad back then was made the clan chief due to his timid nature. Yes, Xianxia is the clan's chief and my father. Showing a smile now, Xueqi felt more at ease since she didn't feel any hostility from the other woman. May I know who you are, miss? I only want to ask you one question. Have you seen Deetsong? Deetsong? Showing surprise on her face, Cece almost questioned her own ears for a second there. Who exactly is this woman to address the Demon King by name? And your relationship to the king? Oh, I'm his wife. Oh, I'm his wife. This sentence was like a heavyweight smash hitter, causing the wolf lady to become disorientated due to this overwhelming piece of information. Is this woman the king's wife, the mother of the prince? What am I supposed to do? The prince is still at home and I'm impersonating the queen. The little devil casting her eyes downwards in order to avoid eye contact. My apology, but the king is not at this place. Your Highness should go look elsewhere if you wish to find him. Even if the panic in her eyes were only a glimmer of a flash, it's still not quick enough to escape by Yan's sharp attentive gaze. Giving a quiet nod of suspicion. Okay, I won't trouble you then. If there's a message from Deetsong though, remember to let me know. When her words fell, she immediately made a turn to walk the opposite way. However, if one paid closer attention, they would easily recognize how slow her footsteps were, unlike before where it's at a pacing speed. Sure enough, when Cece made a run back to inform her accomplice, Bai Yan's head had come around to watch where she went. This demonic wolf clan, something is not right with them. Suddenly, a small hand reaches out and tugs at Bai Yan's sleeve from the side. Looking down, she could see it was a young boy, but that face was as beautiful as any little girl and more. Is what you said all true? You are the Demon Realm's queen? Blinking that eyelash, the young boy asks with carefulness in his tone. She nods. Do you know something, little boy? Based on the kid's gaze alone, she could already tell he has something to say. Nodding desperately, Little Leopard went right into the important bit. If you are the Demon Realm's queen, then you are Xiaoqin's mother, right? Clenching up in her heart, Bai Yan instantly grasps onto the child's shoulder because she knew her chance was here. Have you seen Xiaoqin? Where is he? Giving a glance towards the direction of where the wolf lady departed. Those people tricked Xiaoqin and I into coming here, then they gave him the drug to lose his memories. Thankfully, he didn't fall for their plan. Now they're shamelessly claiming to be his parents. The last bit of that explanation made Bai Yan's fist clench even harder. You say those people, are you referring to the demonic wolf clan's member? Yes, it is them. Those wolves not only pretended to be Xiaoqin's parents, they also said the Demon Realm's king is his worst enemy after believing he's lost his memory. Biting his little lip, the boy tightens his grasp around Bai Yan's sleeve like he's afraid she might not believe him. Xiaoqin said he wants to see the king. That's why he stayed at the Wolf Manor. Auntie, can you help get him out of there? I can't just leave him behind. A surge of anger erupts from the woman's chest as Cece and her accomplice came quickly out of the establishment during this timing. When they saw it was Little Leopard standing next to Bai Yan, the wolf lady nearly lost her footing and crumbled to the floor. Zhang, you didn't do so well either, but unlike the lady, he's more composed and hurried to drag the leopard boy back to his side before making a greeting. Your Highness has traveled far today. Please forgive this boy's lack of manners. He's my son's playmate, so he might have done something he didn't mean to. Allow me to bring him back for further education if he's offended you in any way. As much as Bai Yan would love to tear these two scheming wolves apart right then and there, she nevertheless suppressed her inner anger to take the safe route. I disagree there. I find this boy very much to my liking, in fact. Zhang Yu was truly startled by that answer. First giving the teary boy in his hand a stare, then he furrowed his brow into a frown of confusion. This boy also lost his memory because of the drug. There's no way he could have anything to the Demon Queen. Perhaps it's really just that. They're compatible. Bai Yan's fury, 1. Since your Highness likes it, then I'll take him to visit you in person on another date. He hasn't completely taken control of that brat yet, so it's imperative that he not allow the two to meet. Flickering a meaningful light in the eyes over how the man was trying to hide the leopard boy away. No need. I am getting tired anyway, so why don't I come to your home for a visit? How about that? Dramatically changing in his complexion over that suggestion, Zhong Yu nearly gasped from the huge breath he took in. Queen, my father is not home right now, you coming? That doesn't seem to be right. Why don't we wait until he returns to receive you? Just give him a few more days and he would be able to completely control that little brat. By then not even the king would be able to do anything, let alone this human woman. And if, narrowing her eyes in, a frosty curve forms around Bai Yan's lip, I must come. All white in the face, Zhang Yu gnashes his teeth and stands firm. Queen, I respect you because of your position, Do you really think the demon realm is controlled by you? Nothing but a human. Do you think your status will be there if it wasn't for the fact that you gave birth to the prince? Due to the demonic wolf clan's inability to leave this secret domain, their members have no way of knowing the true circumstances regarding the outside world, nor do they know of Ditsong's edict from before. So you're implying that you're not allowing me to enter the wolf manor? Bai Yan sneered as she approached the two wolves with that dangerous figure of hers. Under that pressuring aura, Zhang Yu instinctively cowered and stepped back as well to keep distance. He may not understand why he's feeling so stressed, but that body of his doesn't lie. It's fear he's sensing and it's telling him to back off. Queen, please go back, he says after much difficulty. That was the last straw for the leopard boy. Breaking free from the hold, little leopard quickly ran to Bai Yan's side and stared viciously at the two wolves. You two are bad people and kidnapped Xiaochen. Auntie, they are the ones who locked away Xiaochen. You must save him. That outcry from the boy completely scared the daylights out of the two across from them. Practically screaming now, Zhang Yu loses his act and snaps back. What nonsense are you talking about? I am not talking nonsense, a pang of anger erupts from the kid's face. Auntie, let's go find Xiaochen, we can save him together. Pulling at Bai Yan's hand, he had wanted to lead her to the wolf manor when Zhang Yu suddenly attacked. The fist from the treacherous wolf was aiming straight for the boy's face, a spot where it would kill based on the level of power infused in that punch. Fortunately, there's a guardian angel around. Bai Yan's fury too. Cece, you go back first. He coughed dryly as he gave that command. Despite her own worry still, the wolf lady didn't argue with Zhang Yu's order and ran for the manor. Towards this maneuver, Bai Yan didn't fret, only picking up the leopard boy in pursuit from behind. The wolf man saw this, of course. He knew he had to do something despite his own injuries, hence the swinging punch he made at her. Sadly, this was a huge mistake on his part because Bai Yan's reaction was just as fast and in the form of a counter kick. This sent the bastard flying over 10 meters away this time around and made that stomach vomit blood like a fountain. Scram! After leaving that remark, Bai Yan immediately continued her chase for Cece, leaving only the unconscious wolfman in the background. Wolf Manor. Within the courtyard, Bai Xiaochen was currently snickering with cunning as one of his fingers illuminated itself with a spark of blue flame. Where should I set fire to this time? He mutters carelessly as his free hand rubbed that little chin of his. The maids and servants were all kneeling before him by now with shivering motion. They just couldn't believe this lovely-looking child to be such a little devil. Master Xiaochen, please don't set fire anymore, otherwise you will burn the whole manor down at this rate. Curving that smile into a cunning smirk, Bai Xiaochen deliberately makes a disapproving face. You will not let me go out to play, and now you won't let me set fire. What am I supposed to do here then? I'm bored and have nothing to do. Master Xiaochen, the one who won't let you go out is your father Master Yu's decision. It's dangerous outside. If we let you run around, then those people who injured you will inevitably find you again. The maid quivered and attempts to persuade him with that point. Huffing a snort. If you won't let me go out to play, then don't get in my way. If you do, then I'll burn you along with whatever I want to burn. The maids and servants quivered once again over that threat and exchanged various glances of fear between themselves. In the end, they stepped back and left the boy to his own bidding. Xiaochen. Suddenly, a panicked voice came from rear side door right as the devilish kid was about to set another fire, causing that little face to collapse from disappointment. What do you want this time? These days he's been really annoyed whenever this wolf lady came over. It's like she's a heckling bat, constantly bothering him during his pranks. Xiaochen, come with me. Cece reaches out and wanted to pull the boy along despite not asking for permission or giving reason. This angered the little steam bun, of course, which he avoided by sliding to one side using a quick step. Normally the lady would question why the supposed amnesia kid would react this way, but time was urgent and she didn't have time to dwell on the matter. Not knowing what to do, Cece did what came to mind and tried again to no avail. Listen to me, Xiaochen, those people who harmed you is coming. We must go into hiding to keep you safe. Now hurry and come with me. I am your mother, so I won't hurt you. She explains with panic showing all over that urgent face. Now that news wasn't bad at all. In fact, it made Bai Xiaochen light up with Li in the eyes, for he knew what's coming. Is baddie father here? Pretending to be puzzled. You said those people harmed me, but there's no hatred between me and them, so why would they hurt me? Stumped by the logic, Cece began to ramble on the only idea that could sprout from that airhead brain of hers. That's because they found you cute and cuddly. They wanted to steal you away from me and your father, but we refused. How can we abandon you, Xianxia? That's when they got furious and attacked. They wanted to destroy you because they couldn't have you.
Bai Yan's fury 3. Is it? Bai Xiaoqian's eyes were full of laughter after hearing that defensive excuse, but it didn't even compare to the beaming face he showed after catching a glimpse of that lovely red figure slowly descending from the air.
Mother!
Likely due to not being aware of the person that has landed behind herself, Xueqi actually believed the little rascal was calling out to herself and became warmed by the thought. It couldn't be helped, after this little devil came to their home things haven't been the same.
It's downright chaotic and a mess. It looks like my efforts have paid off.
This little guy now knows what's best for him and accepted me in his heart. Just when Xueqi was getting jubilant over that idea, Bai Xiaoqian had already shirked off her hands to run past towards the doorway. This left the wolf lady completely frozen there, stiffly turning around with those fingers still hanging in the air. What came into her view was Bai Yan's gorgeous contour. Before either of the girls could say another word though, Bai Xiaoqian had already thrown himself into those arms. Mother, I miss you so much. How come you didn't come find me earlier?
Is it because Batty Father won't let you come?
Compared to his previous cunning appearance, the little steam bun was now portraying a pitiful and sad face like he's been greatly wronged.
It couldn't be helped.
In the little guy's mind, it's always Ditsong who's the bad person and the one trying to fight him for Bai Yan's attention. In retrospect, the doting mother here on the other hand was flabbergasted by the first comment coming out of her son's mouth.
What did Ditsong ever do to make our boy think like this?
Am I not here now, sweetie?
Tightly embracing the little guy, her face dons a warm smile. It's so nice having a son around.
Back over at Xueqi's side, the wolf lady was frozen all over as an uncontrollable panic shook her entire existence due to the dismay growing from within.
How can it be? Didn't he have amnesia? Why would this little thing remember his own mother? As reluctant as Bai Xiaoqian was about letting go, he did after a long hug.
Turning around to face the deceitful witch, his lips had turned into a sarcastic snarl. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you people. Mother's been feeding me various herbs and drugs since I was little, so I'm immune to most poison.
The little drug you gave me have no effect.
Faltering backwards over that bombshell of a truth, Xueqi kept shaking her head like this was some kind of lie.
No, this can't be. Is he saying that everything is a lie? The amnesia is a lie? No. Why are you doing this, why?
She finally understood why the kid's behavior was so abominably horrible.
It's because it's all a act.
Puckering his lip to one side like it's something obvious. Didn't you want to use me to deal with my batty father?
If so, then why wouldn't I use you to my advantage? Instead of me going to look for him, it's easier to just sit around and wait. With her finger pointed at the rascal, Xueqi found her tongue tied there.
She couldn't utter a word against him as tear and despair slowly filled those eyes.
Son, be good and wait here for me.
Leaning downward, Bai Yan gives her boy a peck on the forehead to seal the deal. Bai Yan's fury 4. Under Bai Yan's oppressive and nerve-wracking stare, Xueqi instinctively cowered backwards and became too afraid to meet that gaze. Even worse, the lady had no more room to cower because there's a huge chunk of all behind her back. Exactly then, right as the wolf lady's lost on what to do, her eyes suddenly caught sight of the familiar contour. Brother, you quickly save me. This boy has been faking it the entire time.
What?
Trembling in his already injured body, Xueqi fell over backwards from the loss of balance. He's absolutely white right now as he stared at the little steam bun in incredulous and disbelief. You bunch of dummies think I will be schemed against with your level of intelligence?
I only used your plan to my advantage.
Thankfully it's useful and Mother came to find me like I thought. Despite the disastrous and destructive acts he's done so far like setting fire and stuff, he's behaving like a little angel while in Bai Yan's presence.
How can this be?
It's over. It's all over. I should have listened to Father's words and kept to the stable life here. If I did, then none of this would be happening. Now not only will I be killed, my entire clan will also fall with me.
Bang!
With a sudden swinging kick, Bai Yan directly knocks Xueqi over when the lady showed signs of stepping back. It's excruciatingly painful for the wolf lady to be attacked so heavily and without indication. Sadly for her, Xueqi seems to have no intention of saving her despite the bleak appearance. To the man, he only wanted to flee right now and save himself at this point. But right as the wolf man's about to sneak away while everyone's attention was preoccupied by his companion, Bai Yan abruptly shoots a glare behind herself and sends a beam of force into the man's ankle. And as if that wasn't enough to subdue the bastard, a powerful aura had come down from the front, crushing him and pressing that body down like a mountain. While Bai Yan and Bai Xiaochen both noticed this behavior at the same time and looked over, the kid only showed an astonished face when his eyes fell upon that silvery-haired figure. However, the woman herself was a different story. When the husband and wife met and made eye contact, it was the male who first made a surprised look before turning it into anger. So, for a moment, those who are being suppressed actually thought there's a chance for them to live based on Ditsong's reaction. This was especially true for Zhongyu and Cece. Perhaps the relationship between the king and queen isn't so good after all. Otherwise, why else would he be so mad? Is it Di Xiaowan? Asked the man with seething flames spewing out of that tongue. He's furious and didn't remember to catch his breath when speaking. Startled on her face. What? Bai Yan's fury 5. Is it Di Xiaowan who told you? Is it her who found a way for you to come here? I just knew it's going to be her when it comes to these things. When I get out of here, I'm going to break her leg as punishment. The anger was now seething out of Ditsong's voice when he spoke, making him practically losing control. That stinking girl knows damn well how dangerous this place is. How can she let Yan Yan come? I'm going to make sure she learns not to cross the line again. Bai Yan narrows her eyes in over that mutter. Xiaochen lost contact and you didn't tell me? And what of it that it's Xiaowan who told me? If it wasn't for her, I would still be in the dark. I knew it. This time I will make sure to beat her till she learns. While the man grinds his teeth in frustration, Bai Yan only snickered a laugh at her husband's childish behavior and reached over to choke him by the collar. In this moment all of the demons and people were dumbfounded by what they saw. How noble is the king? He's someone who would beat the princess if he wants. How can this human woman be so daring to treat the king in this way? It couldn't be helped that they would be so shocked. These demons stationed inside the secret domain have never left their homes for a long time now. It's normal for them to lack the latest news regarding the relationship of this pair from the outside. Ditsong. Bai Yan spoke with flair all over her face. Who did you say you were going to tie up and beat? By now Ditsong's anger has mostly dissipated due to his wife's harsh voice. Then after some thought, he decides to answer honestly upon weighing the pros and cons of lying. Di Xiaowan. In response to that answer, Bai Yan only started to chuckle menacingly. It's nerve-wracking, making even Ditsong feel uneasy. Yan, there's a lot of celestial rank people here in this secret domain. Out of worry for your safety, that's why I forbade Xiaowan from. You shut up. Bai Yan's yell instantly made the man shut up that lip. I'm going to ask you one last time. Who did you say you were going to hang up to beat? I only wanted to. But before he could finish that sentence with his sister's name, Bai Yan's expression had already turned dangerously dark, causing Ditsong to change his wording right away. I want to hang myself to beat. Only then did Bai Yan smile and pat him on the shoulder. Now that's good. In front of you, I am always very good. May your hubby here know if you will reward me with a daughter? That will depend on your performance. Bai Yan's smile grew even deeper. Although she failed to keep the promise between her and the demon princess and allowed Ditsong to know of the fact. But, what's so hard about protecting that girl? I am always good. Do you want to see for yourself tonight, Yan? A rosy smile evokes out of the man's lip while his voice whispered into the woman's ear. Bai Yan's fury, 6, sweeping his eyes over to the wolf couple, Bai Xiaoqin's mouth immediately puckered to one side like a little kid. These people lied to me and claimed to be my family. They also gave me some sort of drug that is supposed to make me lose my memories. If not for mother feeding me all sorts of medicine since I was little, they might have succeeded in their plot. Ditsong's expression began to grow menacing and dark when listening to the whole story. It's not the same type of outcry he made when talking about the demon princess. Rather, it's the silent type that sends chills down anyone in the near vicinity. Naturally, the target of his ire was the wolf couple on the floor that's currently drenched in sweat due to the pressure they felt. Ditsong, do you want to do the deed or should I do it myself? Bai Yan also chimes in with a menacing voice of her own just then. Of course I will handle these troublesome wolves. There's no need for you to deal with such small matters, Yan. The demon king glares down at the kneeling couple, his voice grim with the tone of a swinging bat at everyone's heart. The demonic wolf clan is wild with treasonous thoughts. Daring to threaten their prince is an unforgivable sin. From this day forward, I never want to see them around again. Yes, king. The demons that arrived with the man echoed their response like howling beasts, their voices loud and clear as it roared across the sky. Xueqi became paralyzed through everything. He had wanted to seek his father for help after making his escape and abandoning his wife, but it seems even that little hope was now squashed. Yen, my subordinates will clean up this mess in our stead. Let's go home, shall we?
Song suggests. Let's go home, shall we?
Tightly holding her son's hand, Bai Yan finally reveals a laxed smile after coming to this domain. All right, let's go home. Mother, wait! Bai Xueqi suddenly pushes the woman's hand away and ran over to the leopard boy's side. With a bright smile. Little leopard, you come with us as well. I? The shy kid bit his own lip like he's uncertain. Nevertheless, he eventually spoke with carefulness in his voice. Can I?
Yes, you can.
There are many demons living in the demon realm, and no one will dare to hurt you there.
I also have a cute little sister I want to introduce you.
The little steam bun kept holding onto his friend's hand when he said all that. He's sincere and showed not a hint of lie on his outer appearance.
Okay, little leopard finally nods. I want to leave with you.
Ecstatic now in his mood, Bai Xueqi drags his friend over to Bai Yan's location and began to sparkle in his big blue eyes. Mother, little leopard is a good friend I met while staying in this secret domain.
I got injured and it was he who helped me. Can we take him away with us?
Ruffling her boy's hair over how cute he's acting, Bai Yan just couldn't resist a chuckle. Of course, as long as you are happy, my son.
That's great.
Hugging the woman's leg after getting the approval. Mother, I miss you so much during these days, let's not separate again.
Okay, we won't separate again. How could Bai Yan not miss her boy during this period?
If not to exercise and help improve this little fella's ability, this doting mother would have long came on her own. Meanwhile, to one side, Song was currently stretching his face downwards from displeasure. Why do I feel like I'm only an extra whenever this little rascal is around? Yen, I see your mental condition is not very good. Let me take you back so you can rest first, okay? Bai Yan smiled deeply at the tentative care. I don't know what's going on, but I've been very tired lately. It's good to have a rest like you suggest. Bai Yan's fury, 7. Even if she's a celestial rank cultivator, Bai Yan still requires rest like any ordinary person if they're tired. Sure, going for several months as a practitioner wasn't a big deal if they absorbed the natural energy in the air. But that would only alleviate the body's hunger and fatigue for an undetermined period of time. In the end, everything in existence requires rest no matter their strength or power.
It's been like that for a while already?
Nervously grabbing his wife's hand, Song's expression was filled with unease. Are you sick?
Do you want me to check your pulse for a checkup?
Bai Yan couldn't take it anymore and bursts out a chuckle at that frantic appearance. Are you silly or something? Us cultivators are physically strong and would rarely get sick. Ever since I broke through to the king rank several years ago, I have never gotten sick again. Just like how she doesn't need to eat, any virus or bacteria would be incinerated as soon as they come into contact with Bai Yan's body. Hence the reason why ordinary folks would say cultivators look like gods because of the halo glow coming out of their pores. What's more, this lady was already at the celestial rank, a genuine person who have stepped into the realms of what they could call a demigod both in terms of lifespan and strength. But, out of consideration for Song's worried heart, she nevertheless sighed and began to examine her own pulse.
Next second later, her face froze like she's seen a ghost. What's wrong?
Finding the increasingly tenseness in the air, the Demon King gulped and asked again like he couldn't control his own tongue. He's trembling and downright fearful of what the final answer would be.
Please, Yen, are you okay? You must tell me if you are sick.
Inhaling deeply, Bai Yan took a moment to gather her composure after closing those eyes. Then with a trembling voice of her own. I'm pregnant. Yes, during the recent days, she's been incapable of focusing entirely like how she used to in the past. Whether it be making a breakthrough, or refining the Dan pills back at the Holy Land, everything was done with a sense of reluctance due to her mood. Bai Yan assumed it was due to the fatigue, of course. She did run around a lot recently. What she didn't expect though was this news of herself being pregnant. To be clear, it's not that this woman was being careless about her own health. During the first pregnancy when she carried Bai Xueqi in her tummy, Bai Yan would always feel stuffy and with a loss of appetite. Now this time there's none of that, so of course she wouldn't think in that direction.
What did you just say?
Song didn't move, only standing there like a statue while his expression produced all sorts of colors like a rainbow. Ecstatic? Excitement? Disbelief? Regardless of what his emotions were over this explosive news, the Demon King only knew one thing, and that was he's going to be a father again. He couldn't be around during his wife's first pregnancy, but now he has a chance to make it for it. Bai Yan suddenly pats her own forehead with an upset face. I'm already 3 months into my pregnancy. If I match it up with the timing, it should be our first night together. Thank goodness I was able to withstand the lightning strikes when I made a breakthrough several days ago, otherwise this child would have been hurt. If she had known about her own pregnancy, then this lady would have made preparations ahead of time so the baby doesn't get affected. While the soon-to-be mother of a second child felt annoyed at her own carelessness, the father in this case only stood there with a goofy grin on that face. It's quite apparent this man still hasn't come back to his senses. Mother. It's then Bai Xueqi pokes his little head over. Am I going to have a little sister? Bai Yan knocks the boy's head with her knuckle. And how do you know it's going to be a sister? I've told you before already. I had a dream, Mother. I dreamt about my little sister. Although I didn't get a good look, but I'm certain it's my sister, a lovely and sensible sister. She's going to be the most beautiful little princess in the world. Bai Yan's fury, 8. In Bai Xueqin's mind, his sister would naturally be the best. Even if he exhausted all the adjectives in the vocabulary, it would be far from sufficient to depict his sister's excellence. Yan. Not letting the mother and child to continue, Ditsong suddenly exclaims after coming back to reality and firmly pulled his wife into his arms, nearly trembling in his voice due to the overwhelming joy. This is the best gift you could give me. From now on and into the future, me and our son will do everything to keep our daughter and you from any danger. We won't let any harm come your way. Like a good little supporter, the little steam bun hurriedly gnawed in agreement. I am a man now. I will protect Mother and my little sister. I won't let anyone harm you. Raising a hand to rub her still flat belly, Bai Yan's heart naturally melted away due to this pair of important males in her life. Back when she first gave birth to Xueqi, she was alone and up in the mountains with no one to help her during labor. At the time, she vowed to protect the newborn life no matter the circumstances, but now. Perhaps it's because of Ditsong's presence, or her boy's promise, but she never felt so happy due to the strange feeling tingling inside. What's the phrase? She's not alone anymore? Yes. She's no longer alone. She has a family that would go through hardship and share in the happy moments with her. Congratulations, sire. Congratulations to the future princess. Ditsong's followers all kneeled again, their heads showing joy as well at the future baby that would come into this world. For the sake of our daughter, the attack on the celestial realm will need to be pushed forward. I will definitely give you and our daughter a peaceful world to live in. The proud man vows. I believe you. She believes in him, and believes that day wouldn't be too far off. Spirit Realm. Within a luxurious manner, Spirit Lord He Xiang was currently staring down at a group of men whose strength are comparable to those of the celestial rank. However, the aura they gave off were somewhat unstable and odd in comparison to the real deal. Everyone, I'm sure you've all heard about my son's death at the hands of those animals in the human world not long ago. You're all gathered here today because I want to make an announcement. I've gotten word from a reliable source that Demon King Ditsong is currently not inside the demon realm. Curving those lips into a dark menacing grin. Without their king, those animals are not a threat. As for that demon princess, the girl only knows how to play and wouldn't be able to stand up against us, so. Narrowing his eyes in now, his voice grew cold and frosty. I've made my decision. Everyone is to follow me to attack the human world. I must get my hands on that miracle. By then, I won't even need the secret method in my possession to produce these fake celestial rank cultivators. Afterwards, that whatever demon king will fall like all the rest. Your subordinates will follow and obey. The crowd complied by making that answer like a booming speaker. Good. Chuckling like a snake. We will head out at the next light. I want the human world to be turned upside down. This time he won't just take the miracle, he's also going to get revenge for his boy that died out there. Regardless of those people being involved or not, it doesn't matter to the Spirit Lord, they are all going to die. Yes, my lord. Pleased by the loud response, He Xiang didn't say more and turned for the room behind himself. However, unbeknownst to this arrogant man, a certain lady has been eavesdropping on the entire gathering event. It's Lu Qingyu, the spy sent by Bai Yan.
Right now this lady of the spirit realm was looking terribly pale because this information must be passed on immediately. Once she figured no one was paying attention, the woman promptly made a run for the outside. Bai Yan's fury, 9. Elder June. Lu Qingyu cries out to her trusted follower as soon as she's made it to her residence. There's sweat pouring out of her forehead as she spoke. Things are not good. Miss, what's going on? Getting up from his chair, Elder June appears puzzled by the frantic appearance of the lady. That man. He intends to attack the human world in person. I can already see the calamity and the destructive image. Go now, go inform the mistress. She must hide as far away as she can. Father's strength has reached the middle level of the celestial rank, so no one is his enemy now. If he really is set on a person, then there's no escape. The most urgent task is to let Bai Yan find refuge in the demon realm. Only there will she have a chance. I understand then, milady. I will make a trip to the human world right away. Elder June didn't delay and began to walk towards the main exiting passage. However, right as the senior finished opening the door, he was shocked to find 2 guards already standing outside blocking his path. Elder June, miss, we've been ordered by the Spirit Lord that none is allowed to go outside. Please return to your residence. No one is allowed to go outside? Getting cold in her tone, Lu Qingyu lashes out by raising her voice. Outrageous. I'm sending Elder June out to buy me some goods for me. Why are you not allowing him to go outside? Miss, this is the Spirit Lord's order. Please forgive us. Despite the guard taking to the knee when explaining, the tone they gave was neither humble nor respectful. Now she's starting to sweat due to the panic she felt. Grinding her teeth in frustration. I said it already, I'm only sending him out to buy me some goods, he will be back very soon. Now move aside and make way. Sadly, the mildly veiled threat in the lady's voice didn't make these 2 guards budge and remained like a mountain. It's no secret that Fei Xiong had recently given this lady great commanding power, but the Spirit Lord remains to be the head of this realm. The man's order comes first before everyone else, including the man's own children. Miss. Seeing how Lu Qingyu's about to lose control on the suppressed anger, Elder June knew he must intervene. Pulling at her arm, he spoke just loud enough so the 2 men could hear. It's only a small thing, we can buy it later anyways. That done, he immediately gave a signaling wink indicating they should move out of sight before further discussing the issue. It's definitely a smart move by the senior. If they had forced the matter and demanded to leave, then it would surely arouse the suspicion of the Spirit Lord. By then, not only would it not help the problem, it would only draw unwanted attention. Fine, huffing a long breath, the lady turns without looking back. We're going back inside. While the 2 occupants left of their own volition and didn't show any indication worthy of suspicion, the 2 guards still gave a distrustful stare in that direction. Then with a wave, they called for a 3rd person to come over and muttered something secretive into the newcomer's ear before running off again. Back inside her room again, Lu Qingyu paces back and forth. What should we do now, Elder June? If something happens to the mistress, then no one can help us. At the beginning she was still unwilling to submit due to her own proud nature. But now, she has long understood the only one that could help in her mission of taking down that man was none other than Bai Yan. Bai Yan's fury, 10. What's more? Lu Qingyu's voice stalled for a moment. If she dies, we won't be able to live either. After returning to the spirit realm, this lady had more than once tried to remove the poison in her own system. Sadly, regardless of her effort, she couldn't lift it. This also proves that their life was now firmly tied to Bai Yan as a person. If she lives, they live. If she dies, they die. This won't do. I must save her. Miss, we'll try to leave the spirit realm again during the night. However, if we leave this time, then we won't be able to come back again. The senior sighs over their own future. It's exactly as Elder June claims. If they leave now, then it's indicative of their crime, meaning they would become wanted throughout the spirit realm. Returning would be a death sentence. Lu Qingyu didn't speak as her body quivered so slightly at the thought. She's contemplating what to do right now, for the final decision lies with herself. Undeniably, the lady doesn't hold much affection for this spirit realm and would love to see it perish. However, this place, there are too many memories of her and her mother together. Elder June, a bittersweet smile comes out. But what choice do we have other than that? If mother was alive, then I'm sure she would also hope for me to leave this wretched place. To be free and to be not bound by the restraints provided by this forsaken realm. Closing her eyes, a pang of pain surfaces from the girl's appearance. Miss,
The senior's expression also showed pain after hearing that. Do you want to visit the madam again? Shaking her head. No, that will only arouse the man's suspicion even further.
We will leave tonight as you suggested. Raising her head, she then looks upward to the open blue sky. Maybe this will be the last time I see this picture again. Night time.
Dressed in a clad of black, Lu Qingyu and her accomplice were silently running through the courtyard until they reached the exit again like this morning. Giving Elder June a signal, they swiftly came behind and attacked, removing the two guards without any sound or struggle. However, right as the two issued a breath of relief at their own success to remove the obstacle, countless torches instantly lit up around them, surrounding the pair and cornering them to the spot.
Lu Qingyu froze over in that moment. Stiffly turning her head around, the picture of Hu Feixiang immediately came into view.
Father! Trembling in her voice, there's white all over that face as the sweat soaked the lady's dark clothing.
My good daughter, where are you going when it's this late?
Asked the spirit lord in a calm manner, twitching nervously in the corner of her mouth. I noticed a jade hairpin the other day and didn't bring enough money. Then when I sent Elder June to go get it for me this morning, these guards forbade us from leaving. That's why I want sneak out tonight to buy it. Are you going to buy a hairpin or to go give those humans word of our invasion?
Hu Feixiang sneered and approached his daughter with dangerous air. I've been thinking about it ever since the last assault. Do we have a traitor among our mix? But you know, our spirit realm isn't a place where ordinary people can leave and go as they please.
That leaves you as the main suspect. Cackling now like an evil overlord. You know why I called a meeting out in the open today?
It's to set you up. I wanted to see if you will really fall for the bait I set.
Elder June's death, 1. Hu Feixiang stopped coming closer. Instead he now made a disappointed look on his face.
Whether or not it's genuine was another story though. Oh, how I wish none of this is real. Your brother and sister were both killed by those demons. Now you are my only daughter. What are you not satisfied with? In the future this spirit realm will be yours. Yet you would betray me for those inferior insects? The more he spoke, the gloomier his mood became until it's hit rock bottom. The man won't deny he's been giving this daughter of his the cold shoulder over the years and neglected the girl's mother during the final moment. But he's never hit or scolded the girl at all. What reason does she have to hate him as so? It just didn't make any sense to this spirit lord. By this point Lu Qingyu had already recovered from her initial stiff appearance. Instead of panicking or begging for mercy, this spy only showed a bleak smile of pain when she snapped back. And did you forget how my mother died? It was because of you. She was killed by you. Do you think she would have fallen into depression and died from a broken heart if it hadn't been for your heartless cruelty?
Eventually tears began to swell out of the lady's eye and trickled down that flushed face. Even in death you still won't see her.
And me, you won't even allow me to take on your surname after I was alone. I hated you. Hated you for what sort of cruelty you've shown me and my mother. Is it because my mother got that incurable disease and became ugly? Is that it? Because she's not beautiful anymore that you would abandon her and me? Hu Feixiang's expression had grown incredibly ugly right now. Yes, he stopped caring about the girl's mother because of that disease which made the woman age and become an old hag. But it's not like he's going to shout this truth out for the world to judge. So for that you would betray me? Would kill your own brother?
Losing any sort of disappointment from the eye after remembering his son's death, the spirit lord now got all red in the face like he's staring at the enemy instead of his own blood, snickering with sarcasm in her voice.
Brother? That kind of person is not fit to be my brother. From young to old, that person had constantly abused me.
If it wasn't for my inability to challenge you, then I would have killed that so-called brother long ago. Gently closing his eyes like he's coming to terms, Hu Feixiang eventually opened them again but with a sharp glaring light in them.
It's that of a blade shooting out at its target and slicing through the flesh. Then don't blame me for being ruthless. This is your choice. Someone come, subdue these two traitors and make them pay a heavy price for their actions. Tightly gripping his hand until it's a ball, rage stirs from within. Also, I want to make one thing clear. Your mother turning ugly and old is only part of the reason why I stopped caring about her. The main reason is because she's too vicious as a person. She's killed too many of my concubines. If not for her exceptional beauty, I would have long removed her from my harem.
Snickering a sarcastic cackle again. As for not allowing you to take on my surname. Humph, a tramp that is born of such a vicious woman couldn't be any good, and I was right. You are just like your mother,
murdering your own brother and sister with your betrayal. Inhaling deeply like she's suppressing her own indignation, Lu Qingyu forcefully held back the tears because her own pride wouldn't allow it. No matter how vicious I am as a person, I am nowhere close to your level. So what if I killed my own brother? You would kill your own wife. We're not that different. Elder June's death too. Humph. The lady's words sounded very unsavory to the man's ear as he huffed a grunt, waving his men from behind to move forward. What are you all still standing around for? Go tie this girl up. Yes, my lord. Arching their fist, the crowd immediately drew their weapons and rushed over to surround the pair. Elder June's expression had changed to a whiter shade already upon reading the situation. Quickly pushing his mistress behind himself, the senior stands ready in a protective stance. Miss, go! Elder June! Biting her own lip, Lu Qingyu knows what her faithful subordinate meant by that holler. Ever since her mother passed away, this old man has been her only family in this world, and now she must abandon him and flee on her own. Miss, quickly leave. Don't forget you must still avenge the madam. Finding there's no movement behind himself, Elder June cries out for the second time to urge the lady's departure. Slightly trembling with her body, tears finally poured out of the woman's tear duct when she realized for the first time how big and broad that old senior's back truly was. Never in her life did Lu Qingyu feel so helpless and ashamed than now when she turned to run. Want to go? He Fei Xiang sneered and pounced with his full might in pursuit. However, right as he's about to make contact, a powerful surge of power suddenly explodes out of Elder June's body and created an invisible wall around the area, blocking everyone from leaving. None of you are allowed to touch the lady as long as I'm here today. That year it was the madam who saved him from a lethal injury, and it was from that day he swore to forever serve that amazing female. Now that the madam was dead, it's natural that his vow would fall onto the lady. Regardless of his own fate, he must uphold his own oath and protect the madam's blood. Standing with stoic posture, Elder June becomes engulfed in a blazing flame that seems to be fueled by the air itself. Are you mad? He Fei Xiang goes pale from the sight. You're burning your own soul to forcibly enhance your strength. Is that really worth it? For the sake of the lady, everything is worth it. The senior's tone was as firm as ever. He's unshakable and unyielding in this matter. Ha ha ha. Snarling with a heavy grin. And you think your sacrifice will be enough to save that little tramp? Even if you exhaust your soul, you are still no match for us. What can a brief moment of delay do to stop us? Without the Demon King's protection, the human world is nothing. By then Lu Qingyu will also die in vain along with those insects. One could literally hear the gnashing of teeth when the Spirit Lord spelled all that out. Although it's as the person says, Elder June stood no chance against the foes presented before him despite the sacrifice. But the flames from his burning soul were deadly scary even to the strongest of the bunch. The only flaw was the time frame. A soul could only fuel the forbidden technique for so long. Once depleted, it's all over and all the Spirit Lord and his goons had to do was wait here. Firm and expressionless still on his face. The spirit realm will eventually perish. Pity though the madam is buried in this dreadful place along with you bastards. No matter. I'm sure the lady will return one day and transfer her grave to a happier location. Perhaps his own remark had brought back the memory of that beautiful and proud woman, but Elder June's pale face was now showing a deep smile that could only be found in someone that truly held deep emotions for another. Elder June's death 3. Quit dreaming. Making a crunching noise from his fist, one could literally see the veins popping across He Fei Xiang's flushed face. My spirit realm will never perish. Ha ha ha. Breaking out into hysterical laughter, Elder June's madness reverberates across the darkness as the tears slowly trickle down his cheek. The reasoning? It's because the old man could already see the person whom he longed for all these years. It's his former mistress. She's beckoning him to cross over to the other side with that smile. A clear sign his life has come to an end. Sadly, before this faithful follower could reach out with his old hand to grasp onto that illusionary shadow, it was too late. Right before those fingers could make contact, his body began to disintegrate and wash away by the bristling breeze of this cold night. Before anyone knew, his entire existence was gone. It's as if he never existed in this world. Back over at Lu Qingyu's side, the lady was still in the middle of fleeing through the thick forest when her heart felt something snap and made her stop on the spot. Turning her head around, her eyes dilate in horrific sadness. Elder June! Tears wouldn't stop dripping down her beautiful face. She's quivering instead of openly crying her hearts out, all because she's afraid of drawing attention from anyone that might be lurking nearby. After a long while, the lady finally stopped whimpering and grew hard and cold in the face. "Don't worry, Elder June. I will one day avenge you and make these people turn to dust for what they've done." Giving one final glance at the light that's quickly drawing closer, Lu Qingyu didn't hesitate anymore and sprinted for the darkness and away from the source of her sorrow. Moments after the girl fled, several celestial rank masters promptly landed on the spot, their gaze sharp as they scanned the area. If we're not wrong, the mist should have fled in this direction. The Lord's order, her ladyship must be exterminated on sight. Despite her will and effort, it didn't take long for Lu Qingyu to notice the powerful auras that's rapidly closing in on herself. Bracing her nerves, the girl runs even harder until it's hurting on the chest. "I'm almost there. Just a little bit more and I will be at the border of the demon realm. I will be saved once I get there." Finally, the sight of the huge gate signaling her salvation was in sight. Flashing a joyous look, the lady decides for who knows whatever reason to turn around again to take another peek behind her back. That's when her soul felt like it's been ripped out of her flesh. The reasoning? It's because the pursuers are now firmly right at her back and only needed several more leaps to overtake herself. The shock of discovering how close her pursuers are definitely affecting the lady here. Right before contact, Bai Yan's dainty fingers had clamped down at that fist, causing the torrent of energy to disperse and left Zhang Yu flabbergasted at the suddenly dispersal. "This?" The wolf man looks up in shock. "Isn't she a human? Human beings are weak, how can she?" Zhang Yu tried several more times to muster up his powers then, but it's to no avail. He's been firmly locked away by Bai Yan's control. And then, boom! In an explosion of force, Bai Yan directly sends a punch of her own as retaliation to the wolfman. This resulted in Zhang Yu shooting outwards like a soccer ball until he lands on the passing crowd. Though he didn't suffer any major damage from the fall, but the punch definitely left a heavy dent in his chest. Cece on the other hand was now gasping from the side. She's horrified by what she saw and didn't know what to do. Elder June's death for Lu Qingyu was on her last leg at this point. She still hasn't managed to make those people pay the price, nor has she been able to avenge Elder June's death yet, so how could she die here? Bang! Striking preemptively, she didn't want to die here today. Sadly, before the lady's fist could connect with the old man's chest that was coming at herself, the person had caught the strike mid-flight. Then almost immediately, a soft palm taps against her own belly and sent Lu Qingyu flying several meters back away. By the time she landed on the ground again, blood was constantly spewing out from the woman's mouth due to the injury. Despite this, she insisted on trying to stand up right away. However, the second she struggled to push herself, that's when the sharp pain stung the girl's innards, causing her to lose the air right out of her lung. "Am I going to die today?" In her desperation and iron will, Lu Qingyu finally got up again. With her best effort, she limps toward the celestial rank masters that's watching with open indifference to the lady's struggle. "Today, even if I must die tonight and be buried on this earth, I still want you all to pass on a message to that old bastard. He will pay for his sins. If not now then in the future, he will. Ha 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 ha. He will pay for his own sins." When crying out the last part of her sentence, the lady had already fallen into a maddening laugh that could raise a person's hair. It's very eerie and creepy. Once she was done with her antics, Lu Qingyu did not intend to run anymore and made a sarcastic smile on that bleak face in anticipation for the oncoming attack. Against this behavior, the pursuers didn't say much, only exchanging a glance among themselves before releasing a glow of green around their fists. They know very well what this girl could do or what she couldn't do. If they so much as slapped her with their current strength, it's still more than enough to kill her on the spot at this point. Who is so bold to fight at the demon realm's gate? If you people want to fight, then get lost. Disturbance will not be tolerated. From out of the blue, an old and solemn voice rocks the air, deafening those who were unfortunate enough to be caught in its shockwave. Next second later after that statement, an old figure gradually emerges from the void and left the pursuers stunned for a brief moment. They never thought someone from the demon realm would show up here. "This is the spirit realm's private business. Do not interfere." One of them speaks up after deliberating on what their options are. It's not that they're afraid of the newcomer, they're also celestial rank cultivators of course, but this wasn't the right timing to start a war with the demon realm. At least not in the open yet. Lu Qingyu on the other hand didn't care what her enemies were thinking. In her view,
This stranger was her salvation, and the light in her eyes immediately began to burn with life. Nearly shouting in her voice due to the excitement, "This demon senior, I am Lu Qingyu, a subordinate of your queen. Please save me." That did it. Right before the newcomer wanted to leave, he stopped after hearing the lady's screaming plea. Turning to stare down at the female, a frown appears on that old face. "Did you just say our queen is your mistress?" Nodding fast to answer, "I've already submitted myself to her before. Her Highness can prove my identity. I beg you, please save me. These people want to kill me." Those pursuers never expected Lu Qingyu would be related to Bai Yan. Exchanging a look between themselves for the second time, they were of the same opinion and that they couldn't wait any longer. Whether this newcomer was dangerous or not, it doesn't matter. Their only mission was to kill the lady, and that's exactly what they are going to do. However, right before the group could rush in front to pummel that body to mush, the old senior in the air finally took action. In a flash, he was now in front of Lu Qingyu's presence and blocked off any chance for these men to reap the girl's life. Elder June's death 5. With a banging sound of explosive nature, the force from the old senior's punch promptly flew towards the nearest pursuer, causing that unfortunate individual to blow apart from the chest area and allowing the blood to spray out like a fountain. As for the remaining two poor fools, they are also too late to flee. Before they could react or know what's happening, a razor-sharp blade that looked like a claw had swiped across their belly, causing their innards to fall out and creating a grotesque scene of gore. Upon witnessing how easily the three had fallen while she herself fled like a frightened rabbit earlier, Lu Qingyu didn't know what else to say. One thing's certain though, she doesn't need to run anymore, nor does she need to fear at this point. Arching her fist to show respect. "Thank you for the generous save, sir." "You just said you're our queen's servant?" The old man furrows that brow as he spoke. "I hope you are not lying to me, otherwise I will make your death even worse than these people." "Do not worry, sir. You will know I'm speaking the truth as soon as we meet Her Highness." Only with that promise did the senior release the frown. "You don't need to keep calling me sir. I am First Elder of the Demon Realm, so you can call me that. By the way, why are these people hunting you?" Lu Qingyu's body quivered for a second upon remembering her goal. That face showing a touch of hate as she spoke. "I am the Spirit Lord's daughter. Not long ago, because I was fed a type of poison, I am now Her Highness's servant." She made no effort to hide the part about her origin. It's true the lady didn't submit willingly at first, but now she's fully on Bai Yan's side. "But Mistress didn't keep me by her side and sent me back to the spirit realm. She wanted me to spy on that man." Of course, the man she's referring to was Fei Xiang, the Spirit Lord. The girl would never call that man her own father, one because he's not worthy, and the other she hates him to the core. So when I learned that man was going to attack the human world himself, I conspired with my only follower Elder June to inform the mistress. What me and my follower didn't expect was how devious and sly that man was. He long suspected us and set a trap just waiting for us to fall in. Out of desperation, Elder June sacrificed himself to let me run to this point. Throwing herself to the ground in a bowing posture, her face sobbed with tears. "First Elder, please take me to see my mistress. If we wait any longer then it might be too late." Raising the girl from the floor with his own hands, First Elder didn't rush and explain the issue here. "Her Highness is not here in the demon realm, nor is she in the human world, so you won't be able to see her for now. But you can follow me back to the palace and wait for the queen." "Then what about those in the human world? That man already knows of my betrayal. He will surely rush to attack that land. A river of blood will flow if we don't act." First Elder didn't comment on that. "Come back with me first. We will discuss this at the palace and make arrangements." "Okay." Clenching her lip, Lu Qingyu knew this was the best option at the moment. What's more, she's very aware of Bai Yan's relatives being in the human world still, so the demon realm wouldn't ignore their presence. Not wasting any more time, First Elder turned for the gate leading into the demon realm with Lu Qingyu in tow. And thanks to his identity, the demons patrolling the palace didn't stop the pair or check the lady's identity. The whole trip was smooth and unobstructed. However, it doesn't mean the senior would just simply trust a random lady he met in an outing. Right after he left the girl to her own bidding in the room he arranged for her, First Elder immediately called for a palace guard and muttered something into the other person's ear. "Keep a close eye on her." "Yes, First Elder." The guard arched his fist and complied by retreating into the shadow. P1. Elder June's death 6. It's right as the palace guard was about to leave that he called out again. "Hold on, go call the rest of the elders from the council. I have something to discuss with them.
Yes, Elder.
Half a ring later, the other elders of the demon realm have all gathered and were walking through the main entrance. It's obvious they still didn't know what's happening because their faces were filled with smiles. First Elder, is there a reason for summoning us all? Softly issuing a sigh at his gathered brothers, First Elder began to explain, knowing this news wouldn't be what they want to hear. Yes, I got something big to tell you all.
His words promptly removed the smiles from their face. Please don't scare us, First Elder. Is something the matter? Don't tell me, are those bastards from the celestial realm attacking? Seventh Elder had the smallest courage among the group, so he's the one who spoke with that trembling voice. It's not us here in the demon realm. It's the human world. I've gotten wind that the spirit realm intends to do something big over there, and the Queen's family will also be caught up in the mess. I've called you all here because I need you all to be ready.
Pausing to let his words sink in, he continues. We will be setting off for the human world in a bit. They could ignore the fate of those unrelated humans. After all, they are denizens of the demon realm. However, Bai Yan's human family have to be cared for. Otherwise the king would tear them apart after they return from the secret domain.
Understood.
Fourth Elder also spoke up now after they all confirmed with that cry. First Elder, are we heading out right now?
Yes, we will go right away.
Showing a heaviness in his eyes, First Elder seems to have remembered another crucial factor. Also, this matter must be kept secret from the princess. I do not want her demanding to come with us to the human world.
The danger is too great to involve the princess.
In First Elder's opinion, Di Xiaowan's strength still hasn't recovered to the level of prior years. Even if the girl does follow along, she would only be a baggage and cause more trouble than good.
Therefore, the optimal choice would be to keep her in the dark. Suddenly, the old senior's ear pricked up like he's heard something.
Hurrying to gaze upward, a flash of joy sparkles in his old eye.
First Elder, what's wrong? Did something else happen? The gathered crowd did not understand the change in their brother's mood and asked in haste.
The entrance to the secret domain is open again. His Majesty is likely back. In this demon realm, the only ones capable of opening the domain other than himself would be Ditsong and State Teacher. Since the entrance was being opened from the other side, it could only mean one thing. That's great. His Majesty is back. The rest of the elders also raised a smile on their faces. In their view, as long as their king was back, then those from the spirit realm would never succeed. Someone come. Making a cough to clear his throat, First Elder didn't forget about the anxious lady. Go bring Miss Lu Qingyu to the side hall. I will go meet her in a bit. Confused by his brother's words, Fourth Elder attempts to get more detail. Who is this Miss Lu Qingyu? That. She is the daughter of the Spirit Lord.
According to her claim, she's the Queen's servant.
I didn't fully trust her, so I had the girl stay in a corner of the palace under close watch. I don't dare to let her wander around until I can confirm the truth in her words. Shaking his hand to end the discussion. But enough of us talking here, let's go meet the king and queen first.
The rest of the Elder Council didn't object to the idea and followed from behind. They're also of the idea to meet Ditsong before continuing this conversation.
P2. Elder June's death, 7. At this moment within a valley, a flash of bright brilliance booms out of thin air and materializes a bronze gate that swung wide open at the same time. Following that was the appearance of a family of 3. The man seductively devilish, the woman blindingly beautiful, and the little kid cuddly and adorable. Together, the trio were almost surreal, like a painting itself when gazed upon.
Welcome home, King, Queen, and Prince.
Kneeling on the ground, their voices were respectful and united. As usual, Ditsong's expression remains as indifferent as ever when he waved his hand to push the group back up from the ground with his power.
Did anything happen while I was away from the demon realm?
First Elder was hesitant to report the various incidents but did so out of loyalty. A lady by the name of Lu Qingyu came tonight and seeks an audience. She claims to be the queen's servant.
Lu Qingyu is here?
Bai Yan sounded surprised and startled by the news. Did something happen in the spirit realm?
Go, bring me to her.
Yes, Queen. Now that he's confirmed the two ladies' connection, First Elder's last bit of unease finally dissipated. He's afraid of bringing a spy or assassin into the fold. If anything happens to the king or queen, then it would be him who's the cause. He would become a sinner. While Bai Yan and Ditsong headed out to conduct their business, Bai Xiaochen and his little friend was left behind to do their own thing for now. Don't worry, little leopard. There's nothing to be afraid here. I am the prince. No one will try anything. Finding the unease hovering around his friend's behavior, the little steam bun attempts to reassure the boy. It's not that the leopard boy didn't trust the little prince or the influence he wields, but he's always lived alone until now. To come to a place filled with so many of his kind at once, he's just not used to the large company. Let's go. I'll bring you to play at Auntie Suzaku's place. She loves children, so I'm sure she will like you too. Unlike First Elder who had left the premise in order to lead the couple away, the remaining elders were still here. When they overheard the kids' comment about bringing the leopard boy to meet that great one, it's equivalent to a grenade being thrown in front of their faces ready for exploding. Hurrying to block the kids from going, "Prince, this isn't right. Lady Suzaku hates being bothered by outsiders. I fear she might hurt your friend if you go." Bai Xiaochen immediately puckers his lip up. "How can that be? Auntie Suzaku is great and nice. I'm sure she will like my friend. Come little leopard, let's go." Without looking back, the leopard boy followed along like a good friend that he was. Since Bai Xiaochen claimed that Auntie Suzaku wouldn't hurt him, then of course he's going to believe him. As if a couple of strangers could change his mind? Finding how the little steam bun wouldn't listen to their advice, the remaining elders all twitched in the corner of their mouth. As much as they would want to stop the tragedy that's going to unfold, blocking the prince was something they didn't have the guts to do. Side hall. Lu Qing you had been pacing back and forth after being brought over to this location. She's full of urgency on the face when the door swung open and in came that stunning couple whom could wow the world. "Mistress!" Bang! Not a hint of hesitation, she plops to the ground into a kneeling position, her face full of tears as that shoulder quivered with emotion. "You're finally back." Growing serious on the face as well, Bai Yan knew this couldn't be good and asked with sternness, "What happened?" With biting lips. "That man is already rushing towards the human world with most of his main fighting force. Mistress, if we don't do something soon it will be too late." "What?" Trembling from the shock, Bai Yan nearly stumbled over when she took a step backwards. Fortunately Di Tsong was around. Right as the woman's about to tip over, his hands immediately reached around to catch her by the shoulder. Elder Jun's death, 8. It took a long while before Bai Yan could digest the news. "Di Tsong, I want to go back to the Holy Land." "Okay, I'll go back with you," the Demon King softly replies. Gradually, his voice turns cold and menacing. "If those from the spirit realm dare to touch my father-in-law, then their existence will no longer be needed." "You're right, the spirit realm's existence is no longer needed." Agreeing with her man, Bai Yan's frosty face told everyone her sore spot had been hit this time. As a consequence, something drastic and terrible was going to happen. It's then several elders also came in at this moment, making it less complicated for her to give the next order. "First Elder, you gather a force to attack the spirit realm. If there are those who are willing to surrender, then you can lock them into a slave contract. For those unwilling to surrender, you don't need to keep them around. They will pay for trying to touch my family again and again. Furthermore, I have here a bunch of Godhood Dan pills. You and the other elders take one each." "Godhood Dan pill?" First Elder spoke up due to the doubt they had. "Queen, these Godhood Dan pills can help those at the Saint rank break through to the Celestial rank in one go and without side effect." After throwing this bomb out there, Bai Yan didn't say more and turned for the exit. However, right as she does so, Lu Qing Yu's voice interjects. "Mistress, can they take me too if they're going to the spirit realm?" No response came, but it did make the woman herself stop to listen to the next bit. "Elder Jun died in order to protect me from those bastards. I want to avenge him with my own hands." "Fine, you go